Welcome everybody. Welcome to today's stream. Hope you all had a nice week so far and have now a nice weekend. So let me set everything up. Welcome. Hope you're all doing good. And welcome Patricia, welcome. Hope you're doing fine. And hopefully it's not too hot where you are. It's quite hot today, like decently warm here, but it's summer, so I expect it. I'm so happy that it's not as hot as last week. Like last week, I'm not sure if you saw it on stream, but it was like, it was running down my face like the sweat. I was sitting in a puddle. I was like, it was really bad. Like I'm so happy that it's not as bad today, and I hope it stays like that. Like it's normal summer. Everything's fine, you know. but if it's like too much, then yeah, I just can't help myself and complain about it. Welcome Veshe, welcome. Moin. Yes, hope you're all doing fine. Hope you all have a nice weekend and can relax a bit. And yeah, I don't know. It's just like I really enjoy the Saturday streams. I think everyone is like really like relaxed and stuff. And like if you have any comments, any questions, just ask. We're always happy to talk about hopefully most things. So yeah, always happy to have some topic to talk about. I'm feeling energetic today, and I think it will be a nice stream. So thanks for tuning in, and hopefully you will stay a long time. But yeah, I was just saying, like, for me, heat is really like, I'm not the biggest like summer heat fan, especially when it's like crazy hot here. If it's like normal right now, it's okay. Right now it's in the morning where I am, and it's also not like crazy hot summer day, so I'm fine. But last week was really bad. I really wanted to stream longer. It was a really fun stream, but it was like I just like physically couldn't stream any longer, and that's where I have to say, okay, that's too much. I felt like, I don't know, someone cast a heat spell on me or something. That's how it felt. Really bad. So let's play one PvP match and see what we can do after that. I wanted to get into back doing some fractals on stream, because I think a lot of people like to play some fractals and want to see how like somewhat more veteran players play them. So maybe I find a good group, we can do some fractals later and stuff like that. Or we just do whatever comes up, world versus world, roaming, circ play, or just in general anything that comes up here, normal raids, maybe some open world. We will see. Welcome Saint, welcome. How are you all doing today? Do you have a nice weekend so far, or is it like, yeah, I mean, stressful week at the end? I guess weekend should be fine, but maybe some people have to work, you know, that could be the case as well. And yeah, hopefully my stream is somewhat entertaining and it keeps you relaxing as well, and not only myself to chill down a bit and have some fun playing. We will play some Evoker here. I really think this season is like completely, how can I say, infested with like Gale shots. I think there are so many people playing Gale shots. I think it's really good in the current meta, yeah, especially in ranked. And I think it was a couple of days ago, I had a PvP match. I'm not jesting, you know, I'm not joking here. We had 2 Gale shots in the match, one in my team, one in the enemy team. That's, yeah, seems decent. And we had, I'm not joking. We had 5 Reapers in the match. 2 Gale shots, 5 Reapers. Like the whole match consisted essentially of 2 different specs. Like what? It was absolutely crazy. I never had that before. I think so many people played the same spec in one match. Reaper is good, don't get me wrong, but that so many people played it was actually crazy. Absolutely insane. I guess that's how it is. Yeah. It's winter in Australia. I miss summer. I mean, that's fine. That's completely fine, and I can understand that. But I think like it depends a bit where you live in Australia, isn't it? Like some parts, if you live in like the hot areas, I think summer is pretty hot, like pretty hot. If you are living in the parts where like summer is like okay, where it's like somewhat like, yeah, you can like enjoy the sun and you don't get like sweat drops within like a minute, then I think that's more like the climate that I would be in. Like, I mean, I feel you. Like winter can be frustrating and a bit like too chill at sometimes, I guess. Yeah. I'm taking a break from Guild Wars 2 after 1,000 days and 4k hours. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. At some point, especially if you go crazy, like if you play like a lot, then taking a break is sometimes a very healthy decision. Obviously, not only for your health, but also in general for like the enjoyment of the game. Maybe you don't enjoy it right now, but maybe in like a couple of months, maybe even a year, you come back and it's really enjoyable again. I think that's really a really smart step. If you don't enjoy the game right now, just make a quick like hiatus, take a break, and everything will be hopefully better when you come back. Yeah. Winter also in New Zealand, but I'm also not a summer person, so this is perfect. Yeah, I mean, I know people always like come for me if I say I'm not a summer person, especially here in Germany, because I feel like I don't know anybody that is not a summer person. I feel like in Germany, everyone is like, summer is the best, you know, it's so good. We can like stay up forever because the sun is always there. It's really nice and warm. You don't have to like wear crazy thick clothes and stuff. But for me, it's like summer is nice and all. But if I had the choice, if I want to sit in my own sweat and like drop like I don't know, just feel really uncomfortable, or having a little bit of like thicker clothes on in winter, I would always choose winter, because like for me that's just more, I don't know, more natural. It feels better. I know everyone will hate me for that. Like there are so many people that will come for me because of this statement, but I mean that's just how I feel. Hopefully that will not affect your opinion of me. Like that's important, you know. It's like I want to express what I think, and I mean that's how it is. But I can definitely see that. I can see both sides of the coin for sure. Like I know people like winter, some people like spring, some people like autumn, some people like summer. I mean that's fine. That's fine. Oh my god, the match time, the queue time. 7 minutes. I mean, it's I guess not prime time, but that's a bit sad. I really hope we could get a bit more action early on in the stream and not like fall asleep directly with 7 minutes of queue time. But yeah. I mean, I guess it's like if you live in Australia or New Zealand, I think if you live in the more northern parts, I guess it's like even in winter, it might not be that cold, isn't it? I mean, I'm obviously not like too much into the geography there, but I think like if you live in the northern parts of, especially in Australia, I think even in winter, it's not that cold. Like you don't have snow or anything. So yeah, I guess you might still not like it, even though it's not snowing. Yeah. Welcome, Victor. Welcome. I'm from Germany. Yes, welcome. You're from the UK. That's nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm from Germany, so that's why my accent is like a little bit weird. But I try to like be very multicultural and always get like a lot of input from like people all across the globe. I think that's the beauty of being like some kind of content creator with a language that almost anybody can understand. It's really cool to get like influences. If you tell me like the weather in UK right now is amazing, that is input that I actually enjoy, you know. So let me know. And I don't know, it's just fun to talk to people all across the globe, just enjoying the same game, I guess. Yeah, it's really nice. Welcome, Pyroto. Welcome. Oh my god, just take the queue, please. We don't want to do it a third time. We don't get too cold in North Island, New Zealand, so no snow. Exactly. I mean, that makes sense. It's like, I think a lot of parts in the world don't actually get snow that often, and I think that's normal. Like even in Germany, I have to be honest, like in the last few years we didn't have like crazy amounts of snow if you don't live in the mountains, so to say. I think that's okay. I'm a snow person. I really enjoy looking out of the window, like seeing the snow, seeing the really nice looking winter wonderland, you know, the just cold look, and then drinking like a hot, I don't know, cup of like tea or cocoa, something like that, and just like enjoying the, I don't know, this warm feeling that you get from seeing this like cold outside, nice and warm inside. I think that's a really cool, cozy feeling, but I know not everybody likes that. And I think that's something that you might miss if you never had snow before where you live. I think that's a little bit sad. Then I can understand if winter is a little bit like boring, if there's no snow and nothing like really than just a little bit cold and maybe rainy weather. Yeah, that's a bit sad for sure. Yeah, summer is crazy, UV. That makes sense. That is the main concern. I obviously, you know, I'm a gamer. I'm not going outside like crazy all the time, because otherwise I would not have that many hours in Guild Wars 2. Like, let's be honest there. But I think UV is something that is like always a bit like you have to be really careful. Like I just watched a documentary about like UV light being very like a silent thing that happens, so that you even like damage your skin and your body even if you go outside in the highest, like let's say noon. If you go outside, even before you get the sunburn, you already like damage your skin. That's actually crazy. I did not know that. I think that's like, for me, I'm a little bit like, okay, it didn't get a sunburn, everything is fine. But apparently that's not true. That's interesting. I did not know that. It's really, really interesting. Yeah. Nice. Glad you like it, Victor. Glad you like it. I mean, I cannot change my accent anyway. I'm just trying to be understandable. People hopefully get what I want to say. And if not, always ask. You know, if I said something, maybe I did not explain what I wanted to tell you correctly or whatever, just let me know. I will try to explain it again in maybe a little bit of a different way. Yeah. Exactly, Patricia. Yeah, I knew that it like causes DNA damage, but I thought like that it's like we have some kind of resistance to it before we actually get like damage, or before it's like, so to say, like hurtful. But apparently it's getting way more like way faster to that point than I actually expected. It's actually crazy. Welcome, Wrench. Welcome. Exactly. You knew it. I am Essex. Oh, it's a, what is it? It's a gale shot. Who said? Yeah, no, I told you about the gale shot infestation. Oh, I wanted to dodge that. Yeah, let's see if we can win the 1-on-1. It's always in the beginning a bit scary until you actually get the kills. The kill pressure with the conditions, because they don't have like insane amount of condi cleanse, and then it's over. Yeah, it's always in the beginning they have a bit of burst, and then it's like, then we got them. Okay, we got them, and we even have them off point. That's good. We can't let them bleed, even though it's a ranger, a bit scary. But it's a squishy ranger, so we should be fine. Okay. So bleeding here for the new players means we don't kill this enemy, because then we get the point and they will, so to say, have a way longer respawn. So that's something that is really, really good to do in PvP if you know you can actually get the kill in the end anyway and you cap a point. If this happens on point, it's not a good thing to do. But if it happens off point, it's pretty good. I think I will just go for the decap here, even though the range is on respawn. I know. But I want to like make the map in a state, bring the map in a state where I'm actually comfortable like being on far all the time, because my team is losing mid like constantly. So maybe we can deny here a little bit of like engagement. They will engage on me in a second. Okay. Is that a support? I have not seen that in a long time. Support Luminary. That's crazy. So we have to be very careful here. I think that was long enough. I mean, we actually, if I would stay a little bit longer, I actually think we could have kill pressure here. It's actually crazy. How do we have kill pressure on 2 people that have a support? That's pretty insane. I guess that's the reason why you don't say heal Luminary that much, because heal Luminary is not that good anymore. I will catch up in chat after I'm like not as concentrated on the match anymore. You have to be a bit careful here. Don't get me interrupted. How did we lose the whole map? No. I just go for the decap here, I guess. Just going for the decap, trying to get like, my team is like, I don't know what's going on. I really don't know. It's crazy. Yeah. What's your PvP rank? It's like currently, let's check. I'm like almost platinum 1710. So I have like not played a lot. Like I have like a 66% win rate almost. But I just didn't play enough matches. That's the main thing. The gay shot is here somewhere, I guess. Maybe not. No. There they are. I knew it. I will just defend here. I think we are in a decent spot. Like, I don't know. I don't want to like lose the point, but I at some point also don't want to have my team losing like all fights all the time. That was a weird teleport, I have to be honest, but okay. We just try to defend the point here and maybe get the kill at some point. I don't want to greed for the kill too much because they have more range than I do. No. But they don't have that much damage. That's the good part. If I like play it well, nice. We have to be a bit careful. We got the enemy here. Second enemy, that is. Playing it safe here again. We want to get the 101, I guess. That was so close. That was way too close to comfort, I have to be honest. I will try to go for the decap here, even though there is a Reaper approaching. Okay, they use their stun break. I mean, that's an easy target then, I guess. Against Reapers, you have to always be very careful when to use your stun breaks because they can see CG in like crazy, especially Condi Reapers that I guess fighting here right now. Oh my god, the survives are like way too close to comfort. I have to be honest, way too close. It's fine, it's fine. Dodge this. Exactly. I thought they might retarget here. Oh my god, how many people are here? You have to be very careful. I think I'm dead here now. Like there are 3 people here. Let's go on Node so that we contest it. I don't even know where my team is at. Like we are 2 people here and my team is fighting like 3v2 at mid or something. They just say, let's do that. It's crazy. I'm playing your low intensity Harbinger build and it's really fun. Glad to hear that, Vashek. Glad to hear that. I really hope that more people enjoy my builds and in general the builds that we have in Guild Wars 2 because the game is really fun if you play different builds and if you find the build that you're actually looking for. I know a lot of people start out with a certain class and don't enjoy it and then quit the game, but I think that's really sad because they might actually enjoy the game if they played a different class. That's why I really hope that I can help a bit with the different build varieties and stuff like that if I make more videos about it. Yeah. Welcome, Beard and Rock. Welcome, welcome. I will answer your question in a second. Just let me like finish this match. Hopefully we win this. This was who left here? That's so weird. They didn't even have the node. Crazy. Crazy like rotations from our team and the enemy team. It's actually insane. Do you think Evoker, Catalyst, or Tempest is better for open world? I think it depends heavily what build you play, but I would say probably like Tempest is pretty much the best because you can like have some support, you have some self-sustain, you have some nice damage. I think it's just the best all-around kit. But you can play all 3 of them. I think like especially Catalyst as a solo build is extremely good, but I think in a lot of cases in the open world you're not necessarily solo. You know, you have always some allies around, and then Tempest actually gets pretty good. Dodge the CC. Oh my god, we have another challenger approaching. I guess they will just try to get the decap here. I mean, the power troubadour. Like, what are you, like 1 year ago or something? Oh my god, the Condi spike, like just randomly getting 10 Condis applied. Like, what is this? And my team lost the whole map? What? Dodging this. Dodging that and getting on node. Maybe. Maybe we can get the decap. Looks like we can't. That's a bit sad. Let's try to pressure here like crazy. And maybe we get the kill or we get the... at least force the node. Yeah, we forced the node. Now we can play a bit more defensive. just commentating my gameplay a bit so that you know what my thought process here is. But of course, like, oh my god, another challenger approaches. Teleport away and try to make sure. Sad. This attack blocks projectiles except unblockable ones. So the only one that I couldn't block in the form was of course the one that they used. Like, okay. Another one approaches, like, okay, now it's like at least we have a teammate here. Okay, we got that. Need the stability, otherwise I get knocked. Oh my god, how many people are here? Like, what? No, I'm so dead. What? Why are there 4 people and 3 instantly go on me? That's actually crazy. Is it like, is it Syrma or is it like just in general, like they want me dead? They want me dead there. Interesting. Welcome, Alpopone. Welcome, welcome. Yes, yes, yes. Elementalists and Guardians are so squishy. I always struggle playing those classes. I mean, you can see I'm playing an Elementalist right now, and how much did I die? Like I died twice, which is way too often, but I did not really like look that squishy. Okay, they got the decap here. I will just go for the cap, I guess, because like we win this match if we have 1 node, so yeah. But you can see I'm playing a build here that is not necessarily squishy if you play like decent. Yeah, it's just some builds need to be understood decently well so that you can survive on them. But I guess you're right, Elementalist and Guardian are the classes with the lowest health pool baseline, so it's definitely, it has like some effect here. I mean, I don't know, I think you will not get the decap here. Just forcing the, yeah. They are really going on it, like really going on it. Oh my god, I should die on node, it's fine. That's what I wanted to do. Anyways, there we go, we won. Not bad, not bad. A little bit much, but we won in the end. Very good. Condis are horrible in PvP. I wish they buffed Sigil of Cleansing to remove 3 Condis. I think it's just like for me, like if I get 10 Condis from a Condi Reaper, it feels like so bad because I cannot cleanse them that fast. That's the crazy part to me. But everything else, I'm like, I think the meta is actually quite enjoyable for the most part right now, I would say. Yeah, there are some builds that are not as good fun and stuff like that to play against, but I think it's not that bad. Okay, so I had Beard and Rock had a question. Let's go back. I haunt you like some demented ghost, but have tried making conditioned sword dagger build for Viva for PvE. I know it's very old build, but I still have hope. I focus on sword dagger combo because of all the blasts on dagger and have still nice combo fields with on sword and whole gameplay as a very nice, smooth and fluid gameplay. Yes, I will visit Viva a lot in like 9 days when the patch drops. Then, so not this Tuesday, but the Tuesday after, there's the balance patch. And Viva will get some heavy reworks. I will make like roaming builds, I make PvE builds, I make even solo builds. I will do like Viva will be like crazy. I will have at least 3 different Viva builds coming out. So don't be too like scared. There will be Viva builds, yeah, a lot. Just wait for the balance patch, and then I will cover it for sure. It will be glorious, so to say. It will be glorious. Welcome, official. Would you have a short time to help me understand something? I'm currently playing a Spellbreaker build. Yesterday I saw a video by a guy called Nike, the current king of PvE warrior builds. He changed a few things, like playing Axe offhand instead of dagger. He also changed some parts in the build. I'm just not sure which one to play. So Nike is really good, and he knows a lot about warrior. So it depends a bit which build is, so to say, the more up-to-date version. I don't know which one you're referring to, but I think Nike's build came out a couple of weeks ago. So I think his build is the up-to-date version. So I would go with his one, but mine is still working as well. It's maybe a little bit less DPS, like a couple of 1,000 DPS less, but that is not really like the big issue. I think if you get like 38k or 40k DPS, I think that's not changing too much. But if I think you should always go for build guides that are up to date. And I think I'm pretty sure Nike's one is more up to date right now, but I will update mine as well at some point. But I have so many build guides out, I just cannot keep up all of them all the time. Yeah. Yeah. Can you give me a legendary weapon finally? I mean, we will do more giveaways very soon. Right now, not today. Not today though. Sorry. Yeah. open world Weaver incoming. Exactly. I mean, it will be good. Like, Weaver is a good class already, and I think it will be even better after the patch. Like, for sure. For sure, for sure. Yeah. Ooh, we have a Merced Overseer. We have a Merced Overseer. That's awesome. Let's play some really DPS golem. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Are we expecting a big shakeup build-wise across all game modes in general? I would say for certain classes, yes. For example, Weaver, absolutely. I would say that Renegade will probably be somewhat shaken up, and we have Warrior being somewhat shaken up with Bladestorn. But a lot of classes like Engineer, like Guardian, they will pretty much be untouched, or like there will be changes, but they will not change too much. So for the most part, it's essentially, I would say, half-half. Some classes are, I would say, pretty affected, like Druid, for example. Some other classes are like unaffected, so you would say it depends a bit which class you play. Some of them are crazy, like will be like definitely having changes, and I will do probably adjustments, new builds, whatever. For some classes, I will not have to do that. So we will have to see. Yeah, what class you actually want. But I will do cover-ups, I will summaries, I will do builds for all of them. So just stay tuned, we will do that. So let's see if my rotation is not rusty. I think it's a bit rusty. I'm already like, oh, okay, we also don't have any quickness. That's not making it better, my rotation. Little bit sus, little bit sus. The not having quickness part is really like killing me. Like I'm like always looking at my buff bar and like, where is my quickness? Where is it? I get like a little bit of it, but not enough in my opinion. Not enough. That's why you should play a self-sufficient spec, you know, then you don't have that issue. If you apply some self-quickness, like for example, Reaper does. A bit more quickness would be good. It's fine, it's fine. It's just the DPS golem here. Nothing else. Oh my god, it's really like I'm not looking at the boss at all. I'm just looking at my cast bar. That's the only thing that I'm looking at all the time. Just so that I don't like consistently like get like interrupt my own attacks. It's really painful. Okay, we're almost there. I should check the boon uptime after this. It's like I think it's not higher than 70% on quickness. So let's check. 67% quickness uptime. That was a bit painful, I have to be honest. A bit painful. A bit painful, but it's okay. It's okay. We did it. We did it. We did it. You know, that's why power mech is really good, because they cover their own quickness. So you're just like, I'm fine. Don't care if I don't have permanent quickness. You know, that's the beauty of having like Reaper, Mechanist, like the builds that provide some self boons, just so that you don't have to trust the supports all the time. It's true. It's true. Yeah. Heal Weaver coming soon? No, I think Weaver in general, they actually go away from this like supportive Air Lives playstyle. There are some things like the healing skill, like some other traits and stuff that you could use to get some more healing out, but now they actually make it completely bruise our DPS, which is so good. Like, applause for them. Finally, they decide to make a spec not being able to support allies at all. It's not necessary. You don't need traits that always are supportive. I think that's so good. Yeah. Welcome, Mark. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, Hammer Spellbreaker, exactly. Spellbreaker or in general Hammer on Warrior will be so good. Like, I think the Hammer is such a good weapon for PvE specifically, because you have so much, I think you have permanent stability with it. It's just insanely good. Absolutely. I'm like looking forward to playing more Warrior, especially with like just Hammer. Hammer all the way. Yeah. So what do we do next? Let's see. Both videos came out 2 months ago. That's why I asked. Yeah, so in general, I would say if you want to have the up-to-date, most top DPS version, you should always check out Snowcrows. The website is always updating it. We can also check it out for ourselves if you want. What's the most up-to-date build right now? So going to raids and checking out warrior. What do we have right now? For spellbreaker, power spellbreaker, I would say if you're going with hammer, you have to play dagger mace. If you're going for like no hammer, then you're going apparently what they want to do, dagger main hand with mace and axe offhand. Yeah, so that is the ideal setup, but the one that I showcased is also, like, I think this one is good and the other one is also good. It always depends a bit what kind of weapons you like, because the damage difference might be a little bit, like a couple of %, but in the long run, I think that is not always what you should aim for. Like, if you have a build that you don't enjoy and it has 500 more DPS, that should not be your top choice. If you have a build that you enjoy way more, you should go for the lower DPS option. I think that's always my tip there. As a new player, give me a second. Very good, very good. Give me a second to catch up with everything that I wanted to ask, to tell you here. Give me a second. As a new player, just a couple of weeks after launch and returned back with some friends 3 weeks ago. Canceling every spell with other spells or movement is so frustrating. Yeah, it's definitely one of the things, the issues in Guild Wars to learn, to understand is that you have a cast time and you should really try to, if you play a class a lot, especially if you play the same build a lot, you should really try to memorize, so to say, get muscle memory for how long a certain cast is, so that you don't always have to look at the cast bar. So for me, that I had to look at the cast bar here because I did not know if I have quickness or if I don't have quickness, so that sometimes my cast here is this long and sometimes my cast was shorter because of quickness, so I had to always like make sure that I finish it. But you can also animation cancel, of course, if you know, for example, your healing skill interrupts your animation. So if I use that, instantly casts my healing skill instead of finishing animation. So you have to get used to that and know which attacks cancel each other, which attacks you can queue. So for example, if I press my 2 skill and then my 4 skill, I don't interrupt my 2 skill until it's finished casting, and then I can use it, the 4 skill, instantly without a delay. So if I do that, it instantly uses the 4 skill as soon as the cast is finished, which makes it very easy to say, okay, always 2 into 4. And you can just have no downtime, no auto tag in there. So there are a lot of things to learn in Guild Wars 2. I try to make new player guides about this intricacies of combat in Guild Wars 2, but let me tell you, that will be a long video, like multiple videos probably, because there's so much to explain about the game, like especially with combat. It's crazy, yeah. It is crazy. So, glad to hear that, Webian. Glad to hear that, glad to hear that. Welcome, Loopy, welcome, welcome. For a low APM relax build, I always see it doing top DPS. I try Reaper, but at Spirit Well, boss moves around too much, so forced movement loses DPS and use sword range attacks. Maybe it's just me. No, I think that's correct. Like builds that have like forced movement and you don't hit their attacks because of that are pretty, like, they are somewhat challenging or somewhat harder to hit or to get the damage out. Like if you play power rifle mech, in pack groups, you will be in 90% of the cases top DPS, because you are independent of boss's movement. You are independent to some extent of boons from allies. It's just extremely, you are very dependent, and that means that you just deal a lot of damage because you don't have a crazy rotation. So as soon as you go into more tryhard builds, in an ideal scenario, they have more DPS. But when in an actual group you have an ideal situation, it's probably not that often. So that's why, like, I always recommend for new players specifically playing a low intensity build and then going from there. And even veterans like me are oftentimes better, so to say, at the DPS, at the clear time even, if you play low intensity builds or builds that are a bit less DPS in an ideal scenario, but a bit more optimized for like chaotic fights, like Power Reaper if you play like a somewhat stationary boss, or if you have like builds that have a little bit more, like, how can I say, a bit more freedom in what it comes to like range, boon output, or just DPS uptime. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yes, my builds are always like, I try to update them in terms of like, if there is a crazy change to one of my build videos, I make a new build video. If there is a mediocre change to one of the builds that I have, I try to like make a pinned comment. Yeah, so if like, for example, one trait changes, I make a pinned comment. If like the gear changes, I make a full new build guide. Yeah. And if there is like the DPS changes, I typically don't bother making a full new video because if you can still play the same build, then I will be fine. I will just say this is like, you can play this build, you will deal a little bit less DPS, but that doesn't change the performance or the like how well this build works in general, because DPS is just a number. Yeah, so hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, I will try to update my videos if it's necessary. Keep in mind, I have at this point so many build guides, like hundreds at this point. I really like struggle to keep all of them up to date. But I will get to your build that you are asking at some point again. Yeah, I will, and also make always summary videos, of course, when their meta changes, of course. Yeah. Welcome, Squirryfish. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well as well. Yes, yes, yes. Does damage scale differently in raids versus things like World versus World? Yes. Like PvE, damage scaling is top. Like there is nothing that has more damage than PvE. World versus World and PvP have lower damage scaling, whereas PvP has the lowest. PvP typically is the damage scaling that has the lowest numbers in general because you're only fighting 5 other players. In World versus World, because of the gear and the sigils and stuff, you have way higher numbers than in PvP, but they are still way, way lower than PvE. Yeah. Yeah. If you're playing solo, you would personally go quickness or alacrity traits? Exactly, exactly. I think quickness is better if you're playing solo in open world, because quickness is essentially a 50% DPS boost, whereas alacrity is a 25% boost, but also gives you defense. So decide what you want more. If you want more defense, or if you want just more aggressiveness. And keep in mind, quickness can also be defense because you get your cast through faster, meaning that you, for example, can say, okay, my healing skill got interrupted by this boss, but if I had quickness, I would have gotten it through and would have survived. So sometimes, yeah, I think both of them are great, but I personally would go for quickness. Yeah. Yeah. Tell me that to my 20 years of WoW muscle memory. Yeah, I know. It takes a while to get, but if you have it, like, if you have this muscle memory, it gets like stuff done. Like, it's actually crazy. I think personally, for me, like, that is the beauty of learning a new build, is as soon as it makes click, as soon as you get this muscle memory, I enjoy the build. Before, often it's like, I feel a bit like too stressed out, but if I get the muscle memory, oh my god, the feeling is great. It's really good. Yeah. Always happy to help, always happy to help. Been watching your videos for a while now, had a question. Is this mantling using runecrafters, green gear, still better than selling? So this is a good question. So if you have, for example, a stack of unidentified gear, let's imagine I have like a stack here in the bank, yeah? If you have that, you have essentially a couple of options, but to make it short, the answer, the fastest way is to sell it on the trading post, and you will get essentially 4 gold and 35 silver. If you sell it here, like sell listed or sell it to the instant sell because the price is essentially the same, you get like 4 gold and 30 silver. If you open it and salvage it with the rune crafters and then sell all the materials you get, or even better, craft something out of the materials and then sell the crafted stuff, you get a bit more gold. But the essential part here is you also spend more time. So I would say for 90% of the players, the most effective way is to just sell it on the trading post, because you save time and time is money. If you want to get the min-maxed amount of gold, you should open it, use the rune crafters on the green stuff and craft something with the materials, sell the crafted stuff, and then you make profit. But like I said, more time, so not for everybody. Hopefully that makes sense. A little bit longer answer, but still hopefully good enough. Yeah. Do you know there is a damage relic which scales in PvP the most and can actually one-shot people? I mean, the thing is, like, I actually don't know which one you actually mean there, but I personally would say it's like they will fix stuff like that if it's like too annoying or too strong. Yeah. So first, a huge thank you for your videos. They are incredibly helpful. I am that Chronomancer to be able to do everything on one spec. That's a good choice, because I'm not a big fan of playing multiple characters or even specs, but it doesn't click for me. No other spec is as versatile as Chronomancer, but what would be your second pick? So the thing is, if Chronomancer doesn't click for you, that's completely fine. If you want to have a very versatile spec, I think you can go for any class, in my opinion, that has a support, like a healer. Because typically all classes that can be healers can be also played as a DPS or can be played as a hybrid build. I guess with the exception of Vindicator. Everything else can be played like that. So I would say good choices are Firebrand. That is also extremely flexible. Of course, they cannot fill the Alacrity heal role. So, for example, if you're a Chronomancer can fill Alacrity and Quickness, so that's a unique selling point together with Evoker. But Evoker is pretty bad at healing in PvE, so I would not recommend that one. I think Firebrand is extremely flexible. I think personally Paragon is really flexible. I personally think like after the next balance patch, Druid will be really good in terms of flexibility. Scrapper is extremely good in flexibility. So I'm just name dropping a couple here, and you should decide which one you like in terms of like class fantasy. I would say Tempest is pretty flexible. And yeah, I think Ritualist is probably the last one that I would to mention here. Can you recommend an MMO mouse, or I just typing the keys? So you can just scroll down. I have in the Twitch description a link to my MMO mouse, and I can highly recommend it. Yeah, I can highly recommend it. It's in the description, and you can find the links to all my gear there. Yeah, but there are a lot of things that like work pretty well. I think having a couple more buttons is always helpful for sure. Yeah. Won't you lose a lot of luck if you're going for legendary items? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Yeah. Relic of the Sunless. They never fixed that, and you can check the scaling on the wiki. I mean, that's so crazy that like they never fix relics. I think that's so sad. They should fix the relics. Like just give us relics, and then if it's over or underperforming, give us some changes to it. It's so sad. It's so sad. Yeah. So, I'm apparently quick DPS. What do I play for quick DPS? I guess we play some Chronomancer. I guess we play Chronomancer. Maybe it's not the best though. What is better? Because you have not enough targets to have quickness permanently. Something that pulses quickness. What pulses quickness? I don't know. I guess we can go Ritualist. Oh, we can go Scrapper. Scrapper is pretty good. Like I don't play enough Scrapper on stream, so let's play some Scrapper. Just finding the correct build here. There we go. There we go. What do you think about Herald Heal? So Heal Herald is like pretty much one of the best healers for Revenant, but sadly it's still not like crazy good. I would say Conduit and Heal Herald are the only good options right now, but even then I think it's like more like a B tier healer. It's not as flexible as you want healers to be because you're locked into the legends. It's just not as like straightforward with a lot of things. So I personally would say if you enjoy it, go for it, but if you have any other options for healers that you also enjoy, it's probably better to go for those. Personally, I would say, if they don't fix it. Yeah, Harbinger is pretty good, but I went for Scrapper because, you know, I can go like heal and like do a thing and you get quickness to my allies. You know, I have so many buttons, all of them apply quickness even without a target, so Scrapper is pretty good. And like I said, I want to showcase some classes that I typically don't play that often, or at least not all the time on stream, so I want to play something like that. And maybe we can play some Fractals later, maybe we can, I don't know, play some Paragon or something like that. We will see, we will see. Yeah. Syrma, did you do the legendary giveaway? Haven't seen one of your videos in a while. Yes, I did. We did it like a couple of days ago, or like a week ago or something like that, when I reached 25,000 subs on my YouTube channel. We did the legendary giveaway, and we will do more in the future. Don't worry, you just have to stay tuned. We will do more giveaways. Yes. I just tried out your all-in-one Herald build. It's pretty good, but I'm not really a fan of Staff. I always use Hammer and Swords. That's fine. Staff is a weapon that is extremely like versatile and very defensive. If you don't like it, you can easily replace it with any other weapon. The swords are the key point. Like Herald, if you play Power Revenant in general, you really want to play with swords. How can I say? Swords are the weapons that are carrying power Revenants in general. They have so much damage. They are really easy to use, so I would highly recommend to always play those. Yeah. Every other weapon, hammer, so like great sword, staff in the offhand, whatever you like, but play swords. Yeah. That is the main thing. Is Mesmer your most played class? funnily enough, people always think Mesmer is my most played class, but that's not true. My most played class is Elementalist. If I look at my classes and my most played specs, it's Elementalist, and then it's probably Mesmer, then it's probably Guardian. I don't know, and then it gets a bit like maybe Necromancer next. I don't know. It's really tough. But for me, it's always like there is a certain how can I say, like time frame, a certain era, so to say, where I play a lot of one class. And then I switch it up because at some point I just get bored of it. It's not as good anymore or whatever. And then I play another class that is like, then completely I go like crazy and play that class all the time. So before I played Mesmer, I played a lot of Elementalist. And before that, I played a lot of Warrior. So it's like always like, it's switching up all the time. So most played class across all of the like decade, dozens of years that I played Guild Wars 2 now is Elementalist. Yeah, across all characters, it's Elementalist. Yeah. Yeah. Once you go for Fractals, and can you host a group? I'd love to join. Yes, Loopy. We will just do maybe some of the challenge modes, but for sure the tier 4 raids. We will have to see if I find like good enough groups. We can also do some challenge modes, but we will see. We will see. Yes, of course you can join. Yeah, I think the mouse that I have is actually going up in price. I think like I noticed that as well. I think it's because it's not produced anymore or whatever. I think it was a really good mouse, but I think I will have to look for a new one at some point, and I will see what I can find that is actually a good replacement if I cannot use the same one again. I heard some people say the Razer one is good. We have to see which one I will get in the end. But for now, it's still working, so I'm hope it's not breaking anytime soon. We have to like be hopeful for that. Yeah. How is Spear Untamed Ranger for DPS? It's good. It's good. Spear on Ranger and Channel is a good power DPS option. It's not always the best, especially on Untamed. I think Hammer is currently the best choice, but you can play also with a Spear and will be completely fine. I think Ranger is one of the classes that has the most like flexibility in terms of weapons that you can use on power builds specifically. So if you like Spear, just go for it and you will be completely fine. Yeah. What's considered an endgame for you? Endgame for me is typically the part that you do when you want to do like every day. Yeah. So routine, so to say, is endgame for me. When I play another game, like any other game, I always think that as soon as I reach a state where I play every day the same things to farm, to just get my stuff that I want to get in the game, that is for me the end game. If I, for example, reach level 80 and still have to get my gear, this is not necessarily yet the end game, because the end game in Guild Wars 2 does not consist of getting new gear necessarily. That is a weird definition, but in general, end game is always something that is like people doing that played the game for years. That's, I would say, the considered thing for endgame. Yeah. Feel Elementalist is definitely quite engaging to keep you entertained and rewarding once you master it. Yeah, there are a lot of different builds. You have a lot of different like play styles because of the 4 elements with it. And it's a really fun class. That's why I think Elementalist is a good choice. It's not as linear, for example, as Thief. I think Thief is a class, with the exception of Spectre, that is pretty linear. You always are somewhat of like an assassin playstyle, which is completely fine if you like the spec and the idea of it, but it's one of the specs that is not as, so to say, giving you a lot of like freedom in terms of build choices as, for example, Elementalist has. Personally, I would say that at least. Yeah, haven't really been playing for the last 2+ years, so I missed the Strike Raid rework. Used to just do IBS daily and Raid full clear and Strike CM weekly with Static. What is the current best way to get for the rewards? So the best efficient way in terms of like you just want to get the rewards in the most efficient manner possible, you would log in on Monday and check which rotation of the dailies is currently happening. So what daily is currently the daily for today and what will be the daily for the next 7 days. And then on Monday, you do the Monday dailies. On Tuesday, you do the Tuesday dailies. Yeah. And then essentially, if you want to get the absolute best efficiency, on Sunday, you do all the remaining things. So all the things that are not daily. This is something that is somewhat annoying because that means that you have to log in every day, do all the 4 dailies every time, and do on Sunday a big, so to say, cleanup. But if you want to min-max your time, that would be the most efficient way of doing it. Yeah. And that's also somewhat what I'm doing. Yeah. I wanted to play a chill MMO that doesn't force me to restart every season, and my friends told me Guild Wars was a great option, but that it was very slow and mechanical. Any tips? Or I would say Guild Wars 2 is not very slow. If you come from World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy or something like that, or any like game that is, I think Guild Wars 2 is very like fast paced. A lot of people quit because it is somewhat too fast paced. I would agree that it's not like action combat. That is definitely true. We will have to wait for Guild Wars 3 for that one. But I would personally say if you like give it a try, and because it's free, you can try it for free. It's pretty like telling if you like it in the first couple of hours, because the combat will get more fast paced if you get more access to skills, but you can see if you like the targeting, if you like the design of the graphics and stuff like that. So you can use my link in the description down below to try out the free version if you want to support the channel. Yes. May I ask if I'm a PvP focused player, if the ranked PvP population is still healthy? So the question is, what do you mean with healthy? Is it still playable? Is it still like you get queues within like 5 to, let's say 5 minutes on average? Or like on like say 2 to 5 minutes, depending on which league you are in. If you're on the higher end, it needs 5 minutes. If you're on the lower end, it needs 2 minutes. Sure, it's very fun on the low end. If you enjoy playing PvP for fun and you don't care necessarily about competitive integrity, yes. If you want to go for the top place and want to reach rank 1 on the ladder, I think it's like you can play it, but it's not the best state it has ever been. I would say for casual PvP, it's very fun. I do it every day because I like PvP. But I'm not a tryhard. I'm not playing for the ranked leaderboard. I'm not playing for winning a monthly automated tournament or something like that. So if you are someone like that, it has seen better times. Hopefully that answers your question. I hit level 80 a week ago. Should I grind to get Skyscale or gear first? I would go for like the gear first, but like while you get your gear, I would personally also say you can already start working on the Skyscale. Oh my god. We have apparently no healer in our group. Or our healer is sleeping. That's fine. What's your favorite class in terms of fluid combat and rotations? The favorite class. I think Mesmer Spear is one of the most fluid combats you can have, but I also think Weaver can be extremely fun. Like if I had to choose, probably Weaver would be my most like enjoyable class because of its fluidity, because the rotation is very fast paced and you have a lot of different buttons to press. It's really enjoyable, but it's not for everybody. So I think every class has its own perks, and some of them are a bit slower paced, some of them are very like fast paced, but you should always like choose what you like, not listen to a content creator what they think is the best, because that might be completely different for you. So yeah. Do you see the dailies for the whole week? You don't see the dailies in the game, but I can show you a website in a second where you can see that. Yes. And then it's actually, so to say, like telling you the weeklies, and you can just check which ones you don't have this week, and it will be fine. Yes. I don't really like PvP. I prefer PvE 99% of the time. Yeah, I think that's what most people do. Like, you don't have to play like PvP if you don't like it. Guild Wars 2 is mostly focused around PvE. Maybe World vs. World a bit more, because it's a bit like of a unique selling point of the game, but everything else, yeah. I mean, PvP is like no one plays it except a couple of players, like myself, for example. But it's fine. It's not like you're not forced to play it. It's more of a niche game mode than anything else. As a new player, exotic gear is almost free, but the Skyscale is super useful. Exactly. I would get exotic gear first, and then I would recommend to get, for example, the Skyscale unlocked, because it's really good in open world. But the important part here is you should always try working on your Ascended gear while doing so. Guild Wars 2 is not a game where you have to funnel all your resources into one thing that you want to get. So for example, as soon as you reach level 80, you should unlock your Wizard's Vault if you have any expansion. Yeah. And then if you have the Wizard's Vault unlocked, you can get your Ascended gear from that while farming for your Skyscale. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense, because there are so many things that you should do to get your account set up perfectly well and stuff like that, but you can do a lot of them simultaneously. And one of the things that you can do simultaneously is getting the Skyscale, as well as farming gold and getting Ascended gear from the Wizard's Vault, for example. If you want a full guide about that, I have a tier list that tells you what are the most important things to do after level 80. You can find it on my YouTube channel. and on my website, !website in the chat. You will find it there as well, of course. So there is that. Viva next patch? Yeah, Viva will be amazing. Like, I will do a lot of Viva. Like, Viva will be very fun. I will probably be quite bad on DPS Viva until I like nail the rotation, but I will get there, I think. I hope. PvE has the problem. You need to play ranked matches to get the legendary backpack. This alone makes people win 20 ranked matches with 3 different classes to the achievement. This achievement alone will cause lower level PvP to be awful. Yeah, I mean, some of the achievements in PvP are a bit dated and I think a bit annoying, like for new players especially to get. I think the PvP stuff is like, because you don't have to get the PvP backpack, yeah? Sure, the PvP backpack is a backpack that looks quite cool, but you can, there are like, we have the PvE one from Fractals, we have the open world PvE backpack, and we have the world versus world one. So you essentially have 4 options for the same slot. So you can choose which one is the easiest for you to get, and that one you should get then, yeah. That is, in my opinion, the part that you should like, how you should decide. Sure, if you don't like the looks of it, that's a little bit sad, but yeah, definitely that's how I would do it, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Sorry for the comment being too long, but like I would agree with you. Like the Sky Scale is probably the best mount to get as a new player because it takes some time to unlock, but as soon as you get it, the amount of freedom and amount of, so to say, ease of use you get with it is insanely good. And you might not even have all the masteries for it yet, but just reaching like certain vistas or something like that, you know, just flying up here, that cost me like 5 seconds instead of climbing up that, so to say, like, I don't know, wood here. That is like in exploring the open world, getting to meta events, getting to vistas, getting map exploration. It's really good. Like, for sure. One of the best mounts to, probably the best mount for new player to get. Yeah. I'm new and have got to level 40. Was wondering if it's critical for me to buy expansions. So I think if you are not level 80 yet, it's not critical at all. Expansions don't give you anything before level 80 that is actually worth mentioning. So I would personally say get to level 80 if you enjoy the game, play it, maybe try out of different things at level 80, and if you still enjoy the game, you can buy an expansion to unlock an elite spec, for example. And you can always start for free, level to level 80, don't pay a penny, and as soon as you reach level 80 and you actually still enjoy the game, go for the expansion that you actually enjoy the specs of. You can check out my YouTube channel if you want to see some gameplay and stuff like that. ! Classes if you cannot decide which class you want to play. So there are a lot of options, but that is my preferred way of doing it. Would you say it's easier to get reward rate bosses from PvP or World vs. World? They are both the same like speed. I think World vs. World is the, so to say, like less, the lazy variant, let's say, the lazy variant it is. That's why I would recommend it for most players, because PvP actually gives you more if you win. World vs. World doesn't matter, you just stay there and get rewarded, yeah. I'm currently on Engineer, that is correct, that is correct. Thanks Patricia for posting, thanks. What weapon do you think we'll be using on Weaver next patch? It depends on, like, I think a pistol is still the Condi-based weapon that you want to use. Power, I don't really know yet. We will have to see the numbers. Maybe there will be more changes. We have to see. We have to see. Cannot tell you yet. Yeah. What power DPS would we recommend right now for Fractals? I would say like power DPS, like Dragon Hunter is really good. Scrapper is really good. Virtuoso is really good. There are a lot of like anything that has bursty power DPS, like Soul Beast is awesome. Amalgam is extremely good. Chronomancer can be good. There are so many good like power builds that are like top tier in Fractals. Nearly quit the game while traversing around Heart of Thorns until I locked Skyscale. Yeah, it's definitely helping there for sure. Yeah, that's good. Very nice. Glad you enjoy it, Courtney. That is really good. I hope you have more like fun in the future. And if you have any questions, just ask here or in my Discord, and we will always help you out. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, movement during Blade Zone skills, that will be crazy. I will be like Blade Zone and Viva are the things that I will probably do like a lot. Like I will do like probably 3 builds within 2 weeks. Yeah, it will be pretty crazy for sure. Okay, so I said we wanted to do some Fractals, so let's do the daily tier 4s, I guess. Just for the fun, because no challenge modes, I guess. You can do them at some later point. Don't want to do the same thing all over. What do we do? I guess I quick DPS, I guess, because I want to play Paragon. And Loopy can join. Loopy can join if you want. Daily T4, what else do we want? I guess we want to have someone with pots, I guess. Pots and food. That's what we want, I guess. And Loopy can join, yes. Yeah, Power Reaper is really good. Ritualist, there are so many good options. Like, I think Power Reaper is, like, for new players, one of the best options you can choose together with Scrapper. If you want to be a tryhard, I think Reaper is not the best option anymore, because Reaper is not the most bursty spec, which can be a bit like a bit annoying. You know, in practice you will see that like burst damage, power burst damage specifically, is insanely good, like for killing bosses very fast. You can DPS flex, Loopy. You can DPS. We already have like quick DPS. Yeah. Welcome. New Reaper here. Should I use pets? Like, I mean, pets, I would say if you are playing like Ranger, sure, you have to use pets. For any other class, I think like Reaper or something, no, I would not use pets necessarily, except Flesh Golem maybe. Yeah. So Loopy, if you are ready, we have still 2 spots. So hopefully, or if maybe you're already in, I don't know your account name by hearts. Just let's see. Yeah, exactly. The Golem I would use. Everything else, maybe not. If you want to join my party, you can use that. Welcome, Grover. Welcome. I'm good. Having a fun day, fun stream today, and just enjoying myself for the most part. That's essentially it. If you have any questions, any feedback, any comments, how are you doing? Everything, let me know. I'm always happy to talk about it. So, what class did I want to play? I already forgot. Paragon, I think. Too many characters. That's the main issue. There we go. So. No, I'm not in the LFG. I just wanted to make sure that you could go in. You know, you can just type if you want to join my group, join Syrma or join my character, and you can go in. But if you are ready, I can post it again. I just don't want to, like. Now I'm in the LFG again, and you can join if you want. If you want. Started Renegade not long ago, but I'm having energy issues. Do you have any ideas why? So Renegade is one of the classes that always nice you're in. They always have energy issues. Renegade is a class or a spec that is insanely, like, how can I say? You have to like manage your energy very well. Yeah, obviously I'm like falling. Yeah. So for me, it's like Renegade, especially if you have certain weapons, you will run out of energy. So I would say the top thing to do to get better at it is trying to stick to the rotation. So one of the things that like Renegade is like shining the most with is if you stick to the rotation, your energy management is perfectly tuned. Like if you stick to the Condi DPS rotation from Snowcross, you will have perfect energy management. As soon as that will not, like if there is some chaos, like chaotic fights happening, some, I don't know, some unforeseen conditions just happening in the fight, you will instantly typically lose the rotation and will drop out of your energy management. And that's a bit sad, but I would say the more you play, the more you learn your rotation, the better you will get at it. And you will manage to get back into this, so to say, state of, oh my god, I'm missing 5 energy to cast this attack. You will get used to it, and you will at some point also be like somewhat fine. And it's just in the beginning, it feels painful. And that's why I say try to learn the rotation as best as you can, because then you will always have the energy. And as soon as you play more, you will understand, okay, I can drop this attack to have enough energy to cast my other attack. Yeah. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Charged miss trade. Yeah, Winslow has a very important point here. Charged miss trade is one of the best trades to have on Renegade or any power, like any especially condition-based Revenant, because it gives you more energy when you legend swap, while you have less energy than 10 when you are currently swapping legends. So that's why I would say for most players, going for like Oh my god, what hit me there? For most players, going for the charged mist trade is in the beginning a bit like scary because you always have to swap legends when you are below 10 energy, otherwise you don't get any value. But I personally would say for like more experienced players, when you get used to it, it's definitely not a must-have trade, depends a bit on the build. What are we doing? I guess we just run in. Yeah, exactly. Welcome, Alka, welcome. Nice, they go for the skip. Yeah, I know they got for the skip, but we have first to kill old Tom, otherwise it's not working, the skip. Otherwise it's not working. I'm playing power mainly, but I'm currently having full berserker because I don't have gear with concentration. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, you only need concentration gear if you want to be the alacrity DPS. If you want to play full DPS, you don't want to go for concentration anyway. But I think that's fine. You know, like you're slowly working on it, and that will be good enough. If you're working on it, that's anything like more than that is too much to ask for. You know, new players or beginners or people that don't have the gear yet, that's completely fine. As soon as you get the gear, try to like nail the rotation, and then you should be good. Yeah. And you should be good. What's that cool back item you're wearing? Let's check. It's called the Eternal Mandala Backpack. It's pretty cool. Yeah, that's it. What reward rack should I be using as PvP? You should use the one that you actually want the account-bound currency of. So sometimes the account-bound currency that you get, for example, Writs from End of Dragons, if you want to go for the legendaries from End of Dragons, that's a really good one. Get the End of Dragons reward rack. If you want to get like Gift of Battle from World vs. World, get the Gift of Battle reward rack. If you play PvP and you want to get the PvP legendary armor, you should get the, how is it called? Glorious armor or something like that reward track. So you should always adjust it to your needs. If you only want gold, I think one of the best ones and most easy accessible ones is the End of Dragons ones, because it gives you favor, which you can then use to craft Generation 3 legendaries, which you then can sell. But that's just min-maxing. Essentially, almost all of the reward track that gives you Mystic Clovers at the end is probably your best bet. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think Rube puts it correctly. It's really important that like energy management is on Revenant always a skill thing. So especially if you play competitive modes, but also if you are just in general like learning a class, you just try to learn the rotation and then try to always find a way to get back into the rotation if you, for whatever reason, cannot follow it anymore. That's my tip there. Do you know how to do the skip there? Yes. I will work on skip tutorials very soon. I have started a new Fractal Guide series that is up to date, and I will do all the advanced skips in all the fractals in one video. It's a lot of work. We will get that at some point, but I will cover that. So I will... Wait, did someone press no? Yeah, just stay tuned. We will do that. Hydrate, good point. Exactly. Alka, good point. If you are starting PvP in World vs. World and have the option, you should always go with the non-repeatable reward tracks first, because those actually give you more Mystic Clovers, oftentimes 7. Then it's just better, yeah, than 2. But it's only once, so it's like you can only do it like a couple of them exist, so you get like I don't know, 45 or something, or even more Mystic Clovers, and you will be fine and happy about it. But you cannot do that infinitely. But it's a really good point to start out with, for sure. Yeah, and you can also get like the from Magnetite charts if you go for Mystic Clovers. There are a lot of options to get Mystic Clovers nowadays, but there's also a skip here. You can go up here, for example, the wall here, but I'm too bad at jumping puzzles, but you can go up there and then like there and then climb over the walls. That is a really good one, because you end up like being done like somewhere like here, and then you can go like over here to the courtyard and will be fine. Yes. I've been using my Writs from End of Dragons to buy obsidian shards. Is that a bad idea? I would personally say that's not the ideal way of using it. I mean, if you're really in dire need for obsidian shards, I guess you can do that. But I would say there are way better uses for Writs. Like, converting your writs into favor and then making legendary like generation 3 weapons is probably insanely lucrative, like forever till the end of time. It's extremely good. I would not use my stuff that I get from End of Dragons to craft anything that is a bit or get anything that is like, so to say, ubiquitous or at least somewhat easy to acquire through other means. So for example, if you like obsidian shards, you can get for karma. Obsidian shards you can get for playing world versus world. Obsidian shards you can get like nowadays from 100 different ways, and I think wasting your favor for that is, in my opinion, not a smart way. I would also never buy the obsidian shards from the Wizard's Vault. They are, first of all, way too overpriced, and second of all, you can get so many of them. I think I have like, at this point, 10,000 obsidian shards lying around. I know I'm a veteran, but even if you are a new player, you will get them very easily nowadays. So I would not waste them, like not at all. Yeah. So keep that in mind. That is pretty, yeah, good tip, I would say. Exactly, like you don't even have to go for the full legendary. Good point by Winslow. Even if you don't like the map completion, if you don't like going for the full End of Dragons legendary, you can always just say, I craft the precursor and sell the precursor, and that is already profitable. Good point, very good point. Thanks for mentioning, yeah. What utility would you choose now on your open world Celestial Paragon? No longer signets, right? Yeah, I would go for like either the banners if you want to have some more support, or if you want to have more DPS, you would probably just pick like you can go for some command skills to get some CC and have some nice utility, or you can always go for, if you play like very aggressively, you can also always go for like the physical skills if you want to have. But typically on Celestial Paragon, there are not that many good options for things, so I would probably go for supportive options, like some command skills, maybe some shouts. Yeah, that definitely not signets. Yeah, good point, good point. Yes, and you can go to the Balthazar's temple, and you can convert all your karma into like obsidian shards there, which is essentially the classic old school way of doing it. And then you can get like thousands of obsidian shards very, very fast. Yeah. Yeah. What's the fastest way to progress with agony infusions? I mean, essentially you can buy all of them off the trading post. So you just need to get ascended gear. Like as soon as you have full ascended gear or legendary gear even, you can just say, okay, I'm good to go. Like I can get all my things that I need. You know, I can get all the agony infusions that I need, and you can get +9 in every slot, and you will have enough to get to level 100 or 150 agony. Yeah, so you just need full ascended gear and infuse all the slots if possible from your rings and stuff like that. So that is the recommended way there. Yeah. Welcome, Viklopo. Thanks for doing this. I'm taking a break from the game, but are there any good low-intensity Scourge builds? So Scourge is a weird one. Scourge is a spec that is low intensity in the sense that you never have to follow a strict rotation. You just spam all your buttons of cooldown. That's Scourge in a nutshell. Spam everything. But for people that want to have only like 2-3 buttons that you need to press, Scourge is horrible, because Scourge is like always requiring you to use all the buttons that you have off cooldown. If you don't do that, your DPS is just garbage. So you can make yourself like now in the, like you can either play a very bad DPS build and press 2 buttons of cooldown on Scourge, or you play a, so to say, high low intensity build. No, does not make sense, but that's what I mean. So you don't have a rotation to follow, but you have to press a lot of buttons. And if that's too high intensity for you, then sad, Scourge is not a build that you should play. If you don't mind that, then Scourge is a really good low intensity build, and you can play the full-fledged meta DPS version with Viper gear and Scepter and stuff like that. It's just like you need to press a lot of like buttons off cooldown all the time. It's not a crazy rotation, but that's just how it is. Yeah. Is Sword way more DPS than Sword Warhorn? Is it just a minor difference on the Celestial Paragon? So you really want to have Sword because you need an offhand weapon that is also usable in the main hand. If you don't do that, if you don't have that, your attack speed will be 20% lower and you will lose a lot of damage that way. So essentially, it's a must. sword offhand is a must. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. They are so fast. So I'm at 1.2 million karma right now. Yeah, I mean that's already like enough to craft at least, like, how much do you need? Like 500,000. I think like one obsidian shards cost 2,000 karma, so you need 500,000 karma to craft the legendary Gen 1 weapon. So that's like, you don't need that much karma. Like 1.2 million karma is enough for two legendaries if you get all the obsidian shards. So obsidian shards are like I said, ubiquitous, to be honest. Like for new players, sure, it might seem, oh, legendary item, it's somewhat rare. No, it is not rare. It is nowadays in Modern Guild Wars 2, like almost everybody has enough obsidian shards. It's really not, it's not that special, and you will get there. So just try to be patient if you don't have it right now, because you will thank me later. If you waste your currency that is somewhat hard to farm on obsidian shards right now, you will be a bit sad later on. Yeah. What should I be spending karma on? I have 1 million and no obsidian shards. I mean, for obsidian shards, spending the karma is, in my opinion, okay. Like 2,000 per obsidian shard is not too bad. That is not a bad conversion. But I would say, like, if you go for any, like, for example, if you go for the Generation 3 Oreen skins, like, for example, we have someone here with the Oreen Hammer. Or if you want to get the title that I'm currently having, Facet of Prison and Boundless Night, where you need to have all the skins of the Oreen weapons. If you want to have that, you need, like, I don't know, like 30 million plus karma, so you can already start saving. So it's like, that costs a lot of, like, investment and time to get. So I would say karma, either you have too much of, or if you go for specific legendaries or specific unlocks, it is very, very, yeah, time consuming to get. Yep. Any thoughts on Aurora and Vision? I think they are great legendaries to get for people that enjoy PvE. If you like to do achievements, if you like to, like, get the legendaries without having to spend a lot of gold, then it's really good. But if you want to, let me pre-stack, my friends. If you want to, like, get, for example, like, just the legendary without any, like, crazy investment, then I think the accessory from Stellar Radiance, for example, is way easier to get from, or not easier, but it's like somewhat like less time consuming than the Aurora and Vision. Hopefully that makes sense. Oh, I don't have stability. It was very close, but okay, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, you need more than that for the obsidian shards for Generation 1 legendaries, because you need like 250 obsidian shards for Generation 1 legendaries, but you also need, and that's the part where people like have essentially, like, you need Mystic Clovers. And Mystic Clovers also need obsidian shards to craft, but if you can get them any other way, then you can also, like, save on Mystic, like, Clovers and just get Mystic Clovers from vendors, from reward tracks, from Drizzlewood Coast, and you don't need any, like, obsidian shards for that. And then you can, for example, just say, okay, I have, like, where is it? Like, you have 77 Mystic Clovers lying around, then you don't need any obsidian shards for the Mystic Clovers, you just need 250 obsidian shards. Yeah, so that is the way to do it. Stellar Radiance is very expensive, but it's faster than almost any other accessory. Well, it's probably the fastest, I would say, if I have to be honest, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of karma for getting all the skins. It's a lot of karma for getting all the skins for the Oreen legendaries. But you can see, like, veterans like me, we have enough karma. It's just always, it depends on how you play the game. Some people, like, play the game and play certain aspects that don't give any karma, and you can have thousands of hours and don't have enough karma. But some people, like, that have a lot of event completions, that play a lot of the game modes that give you karma passively, you swim in karma. So it's heavily dependent on how you play the game. And that goes for Mystic Clovers the same. I know people here in chat, I know Wiz is deleting Mystic Clovers or vendoring them because they have too many. Because you cannot sell them to like, normal players. It always depends on what kind of player you are. It really is. It is crazy, yeah. Yeah, I'm also hyped for Guild Wars 3. I'm with you there. Yeah. I mean, time gate makes sense for sure. Time gates are annoying in Guild Wars 2, and that can make sense to skip. But keep in mind, time gates are just a patience check. As soon as you want to skip time gates, it always is somewhat of the case that you say, okay, I'm skipping the time gate, but I spend more money or more gold. And I think in a lot of cases, that is not very smart. Guild Wars 2 is a game where gold is essentially needed for everything. Like, there is essentially nothing in the game that you can get without spending any gold. There are some things, sure, but it's pretty rare. So that means that I would highly recommend, when you can save money by waiting 1 day longer, I would always wait this 1 day. I know that is easier said than done, but I would always do so. Always, yeah. By the way, sorry for completely forgetting the primes. Thanks, Groggyfish, Helly, and Ruffalo. Thanks, really appreciate the primes. I was just so like locked in and like reading chat messages. So thanks a lot. Really appreciate the support. Really appreciate the support. But yeah, whatever path you choose to get legendary stuff of this, you will never have to do it again. Exactly. I think that's like one of the beauties and one of the things to understand of legendaries is even if you don't like the path that you have to take to get to the legendary, you only do it once. So you will like be done at some point. So for example, I did not really enjoy going for Vision and Aurora. I think for me it's like too much of achievement grinds that I did not really enjoy too much. I liked the like some of them achievements I really liked, but I was really like in like what was it like in one of the maps I was really like, oh my god, I have to do this annoying achievement. I was a bit sad about it, but I got it done. And now I have never to do it again. You know, that's like some of the things are annoying, but I think that depends on the player, and you will only have to do it once. That's the important part. Yeah, and Warbringer is just a time commitment, which is quite nice. Some legendaries are just time commitments. I think those are like boring, but also pretty easy to get. Yeah. What is the best approach to getting all of Arena legendaries? Patience. And getting enough, like farming gold, and of course trying to always, there is one thing that you should get done for the Arena legendaries is always the farming the Arena facets of, how is it called? Like there is some kind of thing that is account bound where you have to complete dragons achievements or something like that, or dragons, events with dragons in them. Let me check how it's called. And the ideal way of doing it, let me check, where is it here? Memories, that's how it's called. Memories of Fire and Destruction. Or memories of like specific legendaries, yeah, like Plant and Mind. Those memories can be gotten, all of them can be gotten from the End of Dragons meta event and stuff. So if you want to min-max, you should get the End of Dragons, like always try to get the End of Dragons meta event or the End of Dragons general map aligned with all of them being there at the same time. So that means that you can progress all of them at the same time, and that saves you some time in the long run. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. Could you recommend some website with builds? So there are a lot of builds like for PvE, like for high-end PvE, I recommend Snowcrows. If you want to have build guides that also have a video, be sure to check out my website, !website in the Twitch chat if you want to get that, because that's like a database of all my builds. And I'm currently working together with Metaforge to get really nice build guides of all the builds that I have on my YouTube channel as written versions, or good ones at least, as written versions on their website as well. So that would be my answer to your question there. Yeah. Thanks, Patricia, for posting it. Always faster than my answers. I like it. Thanks. How to use Warclaw in open world? You have to unlock it first, and then you can use it in open world by binding either a keybind to it or just using here this button where you can select your mount, right-clicking it and select Warclaw, and then you can just left-click it and you can summon it out of combat and in combat even with the mastery. Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's the easiest legendary backpack to get, Warbringer. It's just a big time commitment. Yeah, it's a big time commitment because it needs like almost 3,000 of the tickets, so of those skirmish tickets, and you get essentially like 500 maximum per week, something like that. Maybe if you're lucky a bit more, but like something around this number. So it takes a couple of weeks. It takes like 6 weeks to get. So it's a pretty big time gate. Yeah. What is a good boon strip in World vs. World? Spellbreaker is a good boon strip, and Scourge are a good boon strip. Like in general, they are really good. Those two classes are like typically the absolute top tier boon strippers. But like you can play any Necromancer, to be honest, because all of them have good boon strip tools. I would say that's pretty much it. Those maybe you can play Mesmer as well. Mesmer has also good boon strips, but Mesmer is more about supporting. Then it's like focused too much on the boon strip. So yeah, that would be my answer. Hopefully that is what you are looking for. Yeah. Yeah, it takes quite a while to get Warbringer. So for the stats and the stuff that you actually get with like the Warbringer, or it's not worth it. But if you like the skin and if you want to get a legendary weapon, the legendary back piece, extremely easy. It's definitely my recommended way. So let's sneak this guy here and be a bit mean and sneak the camp. They are really tanky. That's crazy. No, they are dead now. To be careful to not kill anything before. Otherwise they would rally. Very nice, they did it. What do you recommend for a beginner? Let's say tank, easy to play. With which class? If you tell me which class, I can tell you a build for it. You always have to tell me the class, because every class can fill every role in Guild Wars 2. Yeah. What do you think will be the requirements to get the Hall of Monuments in Guild Wars 2 maxed out? That is a very big question. We don't know yet exactly how it works, but I would guess you have like, let's say, you have like 10 options. Let's say we have core, you know, because we know it will be structured in a way that you have Heart of Thorns, Hall of Monuments, you have a core Guild Wars 2 Hall of Monuments, you have all the expansions as specific Hall of Monuments. Let's say for core Hall of Monuments, you need, for example, 10 achievements. Yeah? Or you have the option of 10 different things. For example, get a Generation 1 Legendary. Complete all the dungeons. Maybe, I don't know, complete the map. Yeah, get like a map completion done or something like that. You have 10 of those achievements. Some of them are new achievements. So for example, complete the new Sidon fight 10 times or something like that. And 10 of them are existing. Maybe it's 20 of them are existing. And you can choose 15 of them, or you need 15 of them to complete to get the Hall of Monuments maxed out. So you don't need all of the achievements, but you should have like a lot of them to actually get it maxed out. I think that's the most likely scenario, hopefully. Yeah, we will see. We will get more information about that hopefully very soon. Yeah, nice. Congrats to reaching level 80. Yeah, I mean, it's good. You have a lot of stuff to experience. Hopefully, if you have any questions, I can answer them. Yeah. Is there a good website for meta builds? I mean, it depends. It depends what you're looking for, because like in general, Snowcross is a really good recommended website for PvE tryhard endgame builds. You can find on my YouTube channel, which is also a website, of course, but I guess not what you're looking for. You can find a lot of builds for every game mode, for every class. Or you can, of course, also wait until I post all my build guides as a written version on MetaForge as well. Yeah. Game starts for real once we reach level 80? Yeah, I would say so. I would say so too. Like, leveling is nice and all, but the end game and just in general, the whole game is built around like somewhat being level 80. That's just how it is. So you have now reached the point where every other veteran is as well, and you will hopefully enjoy the time there, because that's where you will stay for the rest of your Guild Wars 2 life. For sure. I would consider Conflux for that amount of skirmish tickets, but it all depends on how people want to approach it. Yeah, exactly. Like, I think for me personally, that, like, for example, if you go for a certain legendary, like I for example, you have Coalescence as a ring, you have Conflux as a ring, and you have Endless Summer as a ring. I would say for 90% of the players, Endless Summer is the easiest and most accessible one out of those. But some people play World vs. World every day of the week anyways, then Conflux gets instantly way more valuable and way more easy to get. And some people play raids anyway, then Coalescence is the best way. But I think you should always, because nowadays we have multiple slots or multiple options for each slot, that you can just choose whatever you like. in the early days when legendaries came out, especially like the first time we got legendary armor, you had to get into raids, which was a nice thing for people that enjoyed raids or wanted to have some prestige, but for open world players, you could not get legendary armor. And the same was true for some of the original trinkets and stuff like that. You had to get into certain game modes and certain parts of the game to get full legendary. And nowadays it's way better and you can choose whatever you like. So enjoy that freedom. I really want to stress that. Enjoy that. Yeah. What about Engineer? What to pick to get fun elite specs? So Engineer is a good choice. Engineer is a really good class, really flexible. Has one of the easiest classes in PvE with Mechanist. Has a very good flexible class with Scrapper. And has a really high-end sweaty class with Amalgam and Holosmith. So I would say Engineer really, really good in PvE, really flexible, really good in solo situations. Start out as a Mechanist, I would personally say. And if you want to get into a more tanky route in the end game, you would go probably with Scrapper and play some kind of heal Scrapper or like quickness Scrapper and get a lot of barrier and just be a really good tank. Then yeah, that's my way of doing it. Hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, you can make Endless Summer even twice because it's somewhat easy to get. Yeah, good point, good point. I'm also working towards Strife Unending. Yeah, Strife Unending is like a legendary that is like pretty cool. But I think Strife Unending is, I wouldn't say expensive, but it's also not hard to get, but it also needs a lot of tickets. The cool part is you can actually skip the tickets, I think almost completely. I think it's one of the weirdest legendaries in the entire game because you don't even need to play that much of World versus World because you can buy, how is it called? Mist? Something with Mist. This one. You can buy this one and you get the Mistwalker infusion, which you need to get the Strife Unending. So essentially you can circumvent a lot of the tickets, the skirmish tickets, which you normally would have to farm from World versus World, by just buying this infusion, and then you can actually get the legendary for cheaper in terms of skirmish tickets, but more expensive in terms of gold. So pretty interesting way of handling it. I personally didn't do that. I had enough skirmish tickets to get it, but it's a bit of a weird way for sure. Like I'm not sure if that is intended or like if that was just an oversight, but that is definitely interesting for sure. Yeah. If only there was a really good recent video going through all the classes and specs. Yeah, I mean, I really put a lot of effort into that video. I hope you can see it. I know it's not perfect. I got some good feedback how I could improve it next time I'm doing it with like the next elite spec batch, I guess, in 10 years. But for now, I think it's a good video. I can highly recommend it if you cannot choose your class. Check out !classes, which is linking you the video that I just released like a couple of days ago, going over all classes, showcasing them, explaining the idea behind them. Hopefully that helps. Yeah. What's the general consensus around Bladezone for new player? So Bladezone for new player is challenging, but not undoable. If you really enjoy the class fantasy of the gun saber, of slowly charging a really powerful attack, it's awesome. But it's a more challenging spec because it really requires you to understand fights well. So what do I mean by that? Imagine you're casting a tech that takes like 4 seconds to cast, and then you miss it because the boss moves out or faces. Then you lose like 80% of your damage. So as a new player, it is really challenging because you have to understand the class and the fight very well before it actually pops off. If you play Reaper, it's good enough to just understand your class and you will probably be good enough and will actually deal good damage in a fight even if you don't understand the fight itself. Hopefully that makes sense, but if you enjoy Bladezone, who am I to tell you to not play it as a new player? Because you will get there. It just is a bit of a harder, steeper learning curve than for Reaper, for example, or Mechanist. Hopefully that is clear now. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, glad that you watched it 3 times already. That's nice. That's the spirit. Yeah, hopefully it was not because it's not helpful, but because you actually wanted to see it again in action. Yeah. But yeah. Can you show that again? What exactly do you mean? What should I show again? The Mistwalker infusion. Or what do you mean? Yeah, I can show the Mistwalker infusion again. That one can skip you some of the progress. Yeah. So I'm having a hard time to play Guild Wars 2, not sure how others are feeling. Not excited about Guild Wars 3, veteran player who played on and off for 10 years. I'm full legendary, just missing like 4 weapons. So, I would say, I'm not giving you a motivational talk here because I think it's important that you play out of your own like interest. I just give you my perspective on the matter, okay? So, I personally would say, Guild Wars 3 is a completely different game. It's like, imagine Blizzard releases, instead of World of Warcraft, it releases, or not instead, but World of Warcraft is out and it releases a new Diablo 4 expansion. You might not care about it. And if you're a Guild Wars 2 player and you enjoy Guild Wars 2, you should not care about Guild Wars 3. Because Guild Wars 3 is a completely different game. It's for completely different audience. Yes, you might give it a try, but it's not killing Guild Wars 2 in any means. So if you enjoy Guild Wars 2, and I enjoy Guild Wars 2, I will continue playing Guild Wars 2 for the next 10 years. I can promise you that. I will also give Guild Wars 3 a try. But for me, as a veteran that has everything in Guild Wars 2, it would be stupid to say, okay, I'm stopped playing Guild Wars 2 now, just because they announced a new game. They already told us there will be 15 years or something where they continuously develop Guild Wars 2. They told us that. So in my opinion, I would say, if you enjoy the game, play it. If you currently don't enjoy the game, just stop playing it. You will come back at a later point if you enjoy it again, if you feel like it. And if you're hyped for Guild Wars 3, now is a really good time to play Guild Wars 2 as well, because there will be the Hall of Monuments coming in a month or 2 months, or like I think like 3 months more realistically, but there will be the Hall of Monuments coming, so you will even get rewarded for playing Guild Wars 2 in Guild Wars 2 and in Guild Wars 3. So it's just win, 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 win. I don't know. It's a lot of points that speak for playing if you like it. Yeah, it's important part. If you don't like Guild Wars 2 right now, just take a break. That's really good. Like taking a step back, and maybe come back at a later point. Yeah. What weapon should I use for support Revenant? Scepter is the best support weapon. Other than that, Staff is a really good one. Staff and maybe Sword Shield, because you don't have a better Vainhand weapon. You could go for Mace as well, but Shield is a good one, and of course Staff. Those are the best ones. Yeah. Yeah. Welcome, Yagu. Welcome, welcome. Love your content. I'm an important question that has been plaguing me ever since I started Guild Wars 2. Would you rather have infinite bacon, but no games, or games infinite games, but no What? Infinite games, but no games? You mean infinite games, but no bacon? I would definitely go for infinite games and no bacon. Like, for sure, for sure. For me personally, playing games is way more important than a specific piece of food. Like, for sure, for sure. If that was the question, yeah. Yeah, I can understand that, Loopy, that there's some sunken cost fallacy going on, but I personally think if you think about it like a bit more and a little bit more nuanced, I actually think that Guild Wars 3 should not kill your hype for Guild Wars 2. Like, there is no real reason to actually have that problem. Yeah. Nice. Only 9,700 levels to get to World vs. World. God. I mean, I will also get there at some point. Probably not before Guild Wars 3 comes out, though. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Someone asked, what is the alternative if you don't have Scepter for Revenant support? That's why I said Scepter is good, but if you don't have access to it, Staff is probably your best bet. Yeah. Reaper or Virtuoso for PvE? Which one feels better to play? I think Virtuoso personally is, for me, more like fluid, whereas like Reaper is a bit more self-sufficient. So you can now decide what you actually like to play. Do you like a spec that is more fluid to play? Or do you like to play a spec that is a bit more like independent of supports or just being really good at solo play? Both of them are great. Like really, really good actually. Yeah. Yeah, glad you like it, Yago. Glad you like my answer there. But yeah, really enjoy that you like my content. That's really good. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. One of my guild dropped that ball of essence the other day. That's crazy. Congrats. That's really good. Like, I have to be honest. Like, people always ask me that. I played like way too much Guild Wars 2 and I never ever got any rare infusion drop. Like, I'm not joking. The rarest infusion drop that I got was a ghostly infusion in like the Wing 1 in raids, which is like 80 gold or something. So it's like I got that, and it's a way higher drop rate than any other infusion because you can only get it weekly. But yeah, that is a bit sad. Guild Wars 2 is a game that can always come back to. Keep that in mind. Exactly. Good point. Very important point actually about Guild Wars 2. That it's a game that is like, so to say, pausing it is not punishing it, your experience. Not at all. For Celestial Open World Revenant, what spec would I go for? Vindicator is very easy. Revenant is very tanky. Renegade is the most damage. And Conduit is somewhere in the middle. So it depends what you are looking for. That was the very, very short, concise answer. Vindicator, very easy to play as Celestial. And pretty much still good. Then you have like Herald being extremely tanky with Celestial, but less DPS. Then you have Renegade, the most DPS, but the least tanky. And then you have Conduit somewhere in the middle. Yeah. After playing for so long, do you even farm gold anymore? No, I just play for fun. I essentially, I have everything in the game that I want. So I just farm gold or I get gold for giveaways. That's essentially it. Like, I don't play the game for gold anymore. Sure, I need gold to get the new legendaries, but I always have some stuff lying around, so I don't really care too much about it. It's a pretty interesting state to be in. Like, new players cannot imagine that. Like, being in a state where you actually like say, I don't care what I do, I just want to have fun. And I still play the game. That's what a new player will never achieve in the next year. It takes a long time to get there. But you should have this mindset anyway. You should have the mindset of playing stuff that is fun to you. You should not say, oh, I need to farm 1000 gold within 2 weeks. I have to farm this 24/7. If it's not fun to you, don't do it. Yeah. Got 2 Mystic Infusions after only gambling 16k gold in the Forge. So totally worth it. I mean, congrats, at least you get 2, you know. I would be careful. With my luck in Guild Wars 2, I will definitely not gamble that, you know. I opened 2000 Blackline chests to get a lot of statuettes, and I can tell you the answer there is my account is cursed. So I will, yeah, you can check out the video on my YouTube channel if you want to see my failing, like, hope in my luck, if you want to see that for yourself. But I personally would say, like, I don't do gambling ever again. Like, not good. Got the new Raptor skin to drop. Nice, congrats. Very good, very good. Yeah, the drop system is definitely not the best. That is true. But I mean, what can I say? Like, I still enjoy the combat and stuff. There are always some issues. I think every game has that. So I definitely hope they improve some of that. But yeah, the infusions is definitely a little bit of a sad part of the game in terms of that. What Mesmer spec do you enjoy the most in PvE and World vs. World? In PvE, I think enjoying is probably Chronomancer because it's a really unique playstyle. In competitive modes, I would probably say Mirage is the most fun, but it's not really good right now in World vs. World that much, so I don't play it there. I mean, it's still good, but it's in a Cirque specifically, it's not like crazy good. So I would personally say, like, I play Mesmer more in PvE than in competitive modes. Yeah. After Secrets of the Obscure unlocked unique weapons for any spec, what do you think the next expansion would do to twist the game in a good way? So we know the next expansion will likely be happening. The next expansion will likely be happening, I guess, like in 2028, something like that. So hard to tell what they would do there. Like, I would be honest, Claire, I don't see a new weapon being introduced. I think it's more likely that we get a new set of elite specs again. I actually think that is more realistic than new weapons. I think new weapons is pretty hard to introduce in the game because that is just like the design space that is left is not very big. Elite specs, on the other hand, are just oftentimes a different way of playing a class, and therefore I think it's like more easy to implement, I would say. I don't know, that's my opinion. Yeah. New fan here and relatively new Guild Wars 2 player, been playing for a few months. Nice, welcome. I hope you're enjoying my content. Yeah, glad to help. Guild Wars 2 is a marathon, but a lot of people play it like a single player game and try to sprint through everything, getting frustrated at not getting what they want instantly. Yeah, exactly. I think you have to enjoy and embrace the game for what it is. You know, I think Guild Wars 2 is an MMO, and would you play World of Warcraft or any, like, even, let's say, even more crazy old school RuneScape? Would you start that game and think, oh, on the second day I want to have maximum crafting level in, like, I don't know, something, yeah? that's just insanity. And the same as in Guild Wars 2. You would not expect to reach level 80 and get the most like expensive legendary in the first week. That is just unrealistic. So you should try to have this mindset of, yeah, I enjoy the path, the journey to getting to the legendary. Yes, that is what I would recommend for sure. What class is kinda best overall for a returning player to breeze back through the full game, PvE, PvP, and World vs. World? I think you have two answers there, either Guardian or Mesmer. Those two are the most flexible classes. They are the most like sought after classes when it comes to supporting, and they are just in general really, really good. If you want to fill different roles, if you want to be like very flexible and go for all game modes specifically, those two classes are really, really good. But keep in mind, if you are looking for a specific like role only, specific game mode only, then I would say it's not as important to choose those. Like every class nowadays in Guild Wars 2, if you're a returning player, can fill every single role. So if you, for example, when Ranger came out, or when Guild Wars 2 came out, Ranger was a class that was like pretty like bad in terms of like what it did and damage and stuff like that. So nowadays, that's not the case anymore. It's really good at DPSing, it's really good at healing. It's just really, really well-rounded, and it goes for all classes. So depending on when you played last Guild Wars 2, it might have changed quite drastically. But I would say, really important to note here, every class can fill everything. Yeah. New players have it easy for legendaries with starter kits. Yeah, that is true. But I mean, that's fine. I think I'm not like negative about that because I played the game for so long. I think it's nice though that they have some kind of catch-up mechanic. I think it would be really horrible if you say a new player has to join and then they have to play 10 years to actually get to the point where I am. I think it's nice to have like a bit of motivation for new players that they can actually reach the point where I am at way faster. I know that is a little bit sad for the players that got it, but you anyway got the time and the fun out of the game, hopefully, while doing so. I think that's the healthy mindset to have there. Yeah. Necromancer is really good for returning players. It's not as flexible as Guardian or Mesmer, but it's really, really strong and really, really safe pick. Yeah. Next mission, the Griffin. Yeah, the Griffin is really good. It's really fun mount. I watched your videos about inventory management. The reality is that it's not enough. And it should allow something like World of Warcraft automatic plugin. I get bored doing these things. I can't play this game anymore. Yeah, I think you're somewhat correct that Guild Wars 2's inventory management is really bad, especially for new players. Like, I have no issue with that because I like did it for the last 10 years. I have no issue cleaning my inventory. But a new player is so overwhelmed that I think that is one of the things they should definitely address. I'm not sure if the way of like doing like some automatic inventory cleaning is the way of doing it, but at least making it more like, I don't know, giving us some like in-game feedback to what to sell, what to keep, or maybe even make it so that less of the stuff drops and it gets just more, I don't know, consolidated in one thing, like they did with unidentified gear, that you have more bags or stuff that it drops in one thing and you can just sell the bags and you don't have to open all of them individually, that it's just one bag type and that drops all the time. I don't know. I think they should like really streamline the inventory management. That's a good point, Esteban. But it's sad if you see that this like decreases the fun of the game so much that you might actually quit. I think that's sad to hear, but I mean it's your decision after all. Yeah. I feel funny every time when I think about Guardian and Mesmer. When I ask Mesmer main what they say go play Luminary, is it really like Guardian 2.0? But when I as a Guardian main, they say go play Chronomancer. No, I think it's both of the classes. I think it depends heavily which class you enjoy the most in terms of looks, in terms of like class fantasy. I think both of them are really good. I would not say like you should play Luminary if you play Mesmer. I think that's not true. I think all of them are really good. But some people even bring it up here, like Engineer, Elementalist. It does not matter. Every class can fill every role. So you should always keep your own fun above meta and, so to say, balanced decisions. Yeah, because every class can fill every role, even if it's a little bit less flexible than the ones I mentioned. You should go for them if you like them more. Yeah. Yeah. The guides and builds are what made me want to stay in game. So yes, really enjoying your content. Nice, glad to hear that. Yeah, I really hope I can make more players, returning players, new players stick into the game. like stay and play the game, because I think the game is awesome and it would be even better if we have more player base. It already has a huge player base, but I think even more is not hurting the game. So yes, glad to help there. Yeah, exactly. More liquid gold would be good, but you have to be careful with the economy to not make it too much liquid gold, because then you have inflation and you don't want inflation or deflation happening in your game. So I think they are really scared of that. That's why they give us so much material drops, so much loot that you have to sell on the trading post, because then they can tax it and then it's like not liquid gold anymore. So it's like really big ecosystem that you have to balance there. So I'm really scared if they ever do some crazy reworks that it works, but I hope they do something about it with the inventory management for sure. Yeah, you can have 32 slot bags and that is like fine, but I personally think that is like, I don't have 32 slot bags on this character. Yeah, I have some characters where I have that, but you can see my inventory is still pretty much sorted. So I think it heavily depends how you play the game. If you always like try to have a nice looking inventory and try to keep up with like managing somewhat like nicely, then you can get a hold of it. But if you like someone like I just know Mighty Teapot, if you know this content creator, he has always a full maxed out inventory and has no clue how to clean it up. Yeah, so it's like always like it depends on your mindset. Some people are just always lazy to clean the inventory, but if you like get it done, you can actually keep it clean if you just try to like be a bit behind it and like be patient and really do it. But I can understand that this is not the game for most people. You want to have action, you want to play the game, play in combat, engage in combat, and not manage your inventory. But I think it's like, it's manageable, but it needs some practice. Yeah. I'm playing Evoker right now. It's so much fun. Yeah, it's really fun. Evoker is really good and really flexible. What's the best race looking for warrior? I personally think like warriors from the lore, or from the feeling of it, I personally would say it's either Norn or Char. I think those are so fitting to warriors. I think it would, like, my first warrior was a Char, and I still think it's one of my coolest characters because it's just so fitting. Like having a big cat with horns swinging a giant greatsword. I don't know. It feels really fantasy, yeah, and really like fun. Yeah, that would be my choice. Yeah. Yeah, it's important to not hoard, to sell stuff and make money out of your inventory. Good point there by Alka. Hoarding is not good. Hoarding is what makes you, so to say, lose your sanity with the inventory at some point. I'm new to the game and have boosted a Necromancer. I'm just sitting in PvP lobby spamming PvP matches for the last 50 hours. What do you suggest do instead? I mean, if you enjoy it, play it. If not, you can also check out all my videos about like getting into like fractals, getting into raids, stuff like that is really good, and try it out for once. Get into world versus world, play some open world, go for a legendary. Go for all of the things at least a little bit. See if you like them, if you enjoy the gameplay loop of it. If you don't, move on to the next. If you like it, stick with it. And if you like PvP, I mean, then play PvP, you know, like 50 hours, you, I guess, will already have some experience of it. If you like it, stick with it, you know. It's a very free game. Some people like to, like, I would say Guild Wars 2 is somewhat of a sandbox MMO because you can play whatever you want. You are not forced to play certain game modes or certain aspects of the game all the time. So that's my tip there, yeah. Had a 9 hours drive for work this week and I must have listened to your YouTube content for half the trip. Nice, Drax. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope the trip was a little bit more enjoyable then. Yeah, always happy to help. Always happy to help. Nice that you caught my stream. Very good. Yeah. I mean, Char is not for everybody. That is true. But Norn, I think, like especially like a big Norn person, I think that's like fitting to Warrior a lot. Yeah. Do you think they will finally add Kodan and new races, new expansion? No, I don't think races will ever come to Guild Wars 2. I think you will have Kodans as playable races in Guild Wars 3 though, but in Guild Wars 2 I think there will never be playable races. More playable races than the ones we have, to be clear here. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I guess we need more likes on my YouTube channel. If you're on YouTube, you know, if you like the stream so far, leave a like. That helps with the algorithm, I guess. Yeah. But we will see. I mean, if you have any questions, that's always the more important part. Liking is not the most important part. I I play Berserker DPS, but I think about healing build or something more useful for fractals or maybe later strikes and raids. Any help? So you can play a healing Berserker, which is actually really underrated. Healing Quickness Berserker is one of the most underrated healer builds out there. It's, in my opinion, really strong in raids specifically. It's really like an S tier healer in my opinion. But in fractals, it's a little bit weaker because it needs a target. You need a target to apply quickness, which is not good enough for a lot of times in fractals, because in fractals you have like to pre-stack to some extent, like on the Mistlock Singularity, which makes it so that you can engage the fight with boons fully set up, and Berserker just cannot do that. And that's why I would say like in fractals it's worse, but if you want to play like a healer, I think Paragon is probably your best bet on Warrior. It's just so good in PvE. I played it early on stream in fractals. It's really good. It's a really, really good class to play. Thanks for the tier 1, Hulao. Really appreciate it, by the way. Did not see it. Was so busy always answering all the questions. Yeah, thanks. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. What legendary to grind for a Mesmer? Greatsword? I would say Sword is probably your best bet. Or Spear. Like Spear and Sword, because you can play them on all classes. So if you get it and you like the skin, you can use it on Mesmer and you can use it on another class later on as well. So I would probably go for Spear, personally. Yeah. As a completely new player, would I be hind raised if I jump into raids through the quick play option for the first time ever? No, no, no. I think that's a really good starting point. Like starting with raid quick play is like maybe a bit like slow in terms of like how you get rewards, but it is very easy to get into and very easy to understand. I would actually say it's a good place to start. And you can also start with the easy raid bosses, like the early ones. They are pretty easy to get into, and then you can slowly go from there. Yeah. Is there any world versus world reward track I should do as soon as possible? I would get all of the ones that are non-repeatable. Yeah. So non-repeatable reward tracks in world versus world. Like the ones that are like just once, like the Crystal Desert reward track here, you see I can use the repeatable version and there is the non-repeatable version. And this one gives you see already here double the amount of like loot here, and the end box is also way bigger, gives you way more rewards. So you should always do the non-repeatable ones as soon as possible, and after that you go for the one that you see fit. Yeah. I have played BDO for 10k hours. I tried Guild Wars 2 a long time ago. I'll try it again because Guild Wars 3 news. Yeah, I think it's a really good game. And Guild Wars 2 will continue to live. And you can even earn some extra rewards for Guild Wars 3. So as a BDO player, you can definitely enjoy Guild Wars 2 as well, I would say, nowadays. It's even better than it was a while ago or like when it came out, for sure. A lot better, actually. So yeah, hope you're enjoying your journey. If you have any questions, just ask here. Yeah. My current build is like Power Evoker, Power Fresh Air Evoker. It's a decent roaming build. It's not like a crazy good one. I'm just playing like Fresh Air. It's really fun and has some crazy burst damage, but it's also pretty squishy. So it's a skillful build that can win 1-on-1s, even 1v2s and stuff like that, but it's not the easiest build to pick up. Yeah, essentially you're just playing like full DPS with like Marauder gear and just cleansing and some defensive sigil on there, just a lot of damage. That's pretty much it. A lot of damage, not a lot of defense. Yeah, and you just run around fast and try to kite the enemies. Loving your content, so excited for the Weaver update. It's my main class that I play in raids and fractals and it does well, but hoping it will be more flexible and stronger. Yeah, I think that is like the whole summary of the new upcoming balance patch, if you would be an Elementalist enjoyer like I am, would be Weaver is already really good in the right hands. It will get even better in the new balance patch. I think it will be less of a like... Currently, Weaver has a healing skill that supports some allies. It has some weird traits that can be used to be decent with allies. But no, they actually removed that and say Weaver is a bruiser or is a DPS. You cannot play Weaver as a support. And I think that's the perfect decision. That's what we wanted. So that makes Weaver now in a really good spot because all the traits actually go in one direction, and that's the direction that Weaver is actually essentially like what it needs to be, what is destined to be, so to say. And I think I'm looking forward to the patch. I already have like 3 different builds that I want to try because it's enabling so much new stuff with the trait rework. I was actually hoping for this Viva rework for like over a year at this point. So finally it's happening. Yeah. Yeah. Hydrate. Good point. Good point. Thanks for the reminder. Really appreciate it, as usual. Would you say Aurochs is relatively easy to get? Yes. Aurochs is essentially, I would say, for most players, the least annoying legendary to get in terms of the backpacks, because it's not heavily time-gated and it's not annoying or hard to get, but it needs a lot of gold. It's the most expensive backpack, I think. I'm pretty sure, yeah. It costs like 3,000 gold or something. So it's pretty expensive, but I would say for most players, it's probably, if you have a decent amount of gold lying around, probably still your best and fastest way to get the legendary backpack, because it's very accessible. You know, you don't have to do anything special for it. It's not like if you get the World vs. World backpack, you need to play World vs. World. Maybe you never played World vs. World, so that is a heavy time gate of a game mode that you don't want to play. The same goes for Fractals. If you never played Fractals, getting into Fractals just for the backpack is a bit of a stretch. So I personally would say for most players, it's probably the easiest one to get. Yeah. So this build, I can go a bit more deeper into this build. So I'm playing Scepter, which is a really nice ranged weapon, but a lot of my damage comes from this trait. It's actually a minor trait. It's called Electric Discharge. And this is a really important trait because whenever I swap to air, I actually strike the enemy with this electric discharge that I have targeted that enemy and apply vulnerability. And that's a lot of damage amplification that I get here. And the important part here is that I can also use my instant cast skills of Lightning Strike, Blinding Flash, and Zap all the time. So I swap to air, use those instant cast skills, swap to a different attunement because my cooldown for air attunement is 1 second. I can use that again, swap in, get the lightning proc again, use my lightning strike, blinding flash, and zap when it's off cooldown, and that's the whole loop, so to say. Air attacks into fire attacks, into air attacks, into water attacks, into air attacks, and like swapping and swapping and swapping. Really like fast-paced playstyle, but a lot of damage if you play it right. Heard that Greatsword is the best for starters cause mobility. Is it true? It depends on the class. Which class do you play? And I can tell you if Greatsword is good. Yeah. Do you have any beginner guides on your channel? I have a lot of them. If you have any specific question, you can find, like, ask here, or you can also just check out my playlist. I have a beginner playlist. It's like, I don't know, 60 videos or something. And they should give you, hopefully, the most important aspects of the game covered there. Yeah. If I buy a legendary from the trading thing, will I still get access to it on all characters? So as soon as you bind it to your account, yes. So let's see. If you buy, for example, Eternity on the trading post, which is a legendary greatsword, if you buy that one, it will be able to be sold again. But as soon as you right-click it, or yeah, right-click it and set add to account or add to armory, I think that's how it's called, add to armory, then it will be on your account and you cannot sell it anymore, but you can use it in all your characters. Yes. Yeah, Rift hunting for Aurochs is pretty like time consuming, but it's not too bad. It's like you can farm it if you want it essentially within a week. Like all the other backpacks have some time gates. Yeah. I like that the newer fractals for dummy videos you made. Yeah, I'm actually doing more of that. It's like a series. It's just a starting thing. I will do more of them in the future. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I also already have a guide. I should probably like link that as well for the classic, so to say, abbreviations people use. So for example, in the LFG for raids, in the LFG for PvE, you look at this, like this, if you show this any like native English speaker and tell them what does that mean, they might not know anything here. And that same goes for fractals. If you look at the fractal LFG, you have like this, look at this. There is no English word in there. Like it's just abbreviations. So I have a guide for what those abbreviations mean. I should probably link that to the fractal guide. Good point, good point. I have that already on my YouTube channel. It's like called Lingo, PvE Lingo or something. Yeah. Yeah, good point, good point. Do you think Viva will be fun and viable after the rework? So I think right now Viva is very underrated. Like Viva in PvE is already one of the best DPS in Fractals. I'm not joking. I'm literally not joking. For high-end Fractal groups, Viva is really good. And after the patch, I think Viva will be top tier. And I think like everyone and their mother will play Viva. I'm not saying it will be necessarily the best players playing it, but it will be like, I think a really good spec after the patch. Yeah, I definitely see that coming. When I do Fractal dailies, recommended and maybe challenge modes, is any point to do more? So for 90% of the players, doing the daily Fractals and the daily like challenge modes and daily recommendeds is already giving you good gold, and it's probably like taking 1 hour, maybe like 2 hours, depending on how fast you are and which dailies are. But you can still do like certain Fractals, for example 40 or 42 farm, which is really fast to kill the boss, get the loot, and repeat. And if you do that all the time, like you can get like 12, 15, something like this, repetitions of those Fractals per hour, you get like really good gold per hour. But you need to have an optimized group setup for that. You need to have a very dedicated like group as well, because you cannot say, yeah, I have a perfect group, but they disband after 3 runs. No, you have to do that like essentially for like an hour straight without any interruptions, at least an hour. And then you get really good gold. So I think that is something you can do. But for most players, just doing the dailies is probably your best bet. Like you should not force it too much if you don't enjoy farming like crazy. Yeah. Have you seen a screenshot of people asking for quick DPS and someone says, yeah, I do DPS quick? I mean, that is like sounds funny to a veteran, but I think it's a fair thing to ask for a new player. You know, new players might not understand what quick DPS means. You know, I had some people join groups, my groups as well at some point. They said, yeah, I have boons. Everything is fine, you know, because I looked for boon DPS, and then we asked all, what boon DPS? What boon DPS are you? And they said, yeah, I have boons. It's fine. Like that is important. Like the game does not teach you. The community does not really teach you what that means. That's why I made this lingo video, because I think it's really hard to understand for new player. What does it mean? Q DPS. What does boon DPS even mean? You know, I have a lot of boons. Why can I not be the boon DPS? Because I don't provide quickness. I don't provide permanent alacrity. That's what the role of a boon DPS is. Yeah, it's a bit confusing, but I think it's funny for veteran to see comments like this, for sure. Why would Viva be better in Fractals than Raids, since it's the same concept but not much longer in Raids? Because in Viva shines with Burst. Viva shines with Burst, and it has really good traits that support it for this Burst. So in an ideal world, one of the really good traits that you have is like burst damage and damage that amplifies when the boss is CC'd and stuff like that. That can be really good, as well as some really good combos that you can get from playing Viva. And that's why I think Viva is really underrated if you play it well, because Viva has like really good like burst in Fractals, which is essentially what you want. I'm not saying Viva is the only good bursting build, but it's one of the best. Yeah, so that's what I meant with it. Hopefully that makes sense. What do you consider the best Mesmer Elite spec for open world content? It depends what you do in open world. If you play in open world just like casually with like meta events, other people around and stuff, I think what you are playing like is pretty good. Like Greatsword and Dagger Mirage, it's pretty easy to tag everything to just get your stuff done. But if you want to get like crazy solo performance and you are really alone fighting the hardest bosses alone, then Chronomancer is the best bet. Celestial Chronomancer specifically, or Ritualist Chronomancer, those two build types. And then for like somewhat tryharding in open world and like getting like meta events very fast, I think you can play any DPS build and it will be fine as well. So hopefully that makes sense. A Vindicator is like a specific elite spec of Revenant, and it's like dropping on enemies, has an altered dodge. It's pretty fun to play. It's not the best in every game mode, but it's pretty fun. Yeah. What's your favorite Viva weapon? I think it's sword. I really like the original sword design. That's why I hope the class gets a buff in the next balance patch in general, which I think it will. But it will also hopefully make sword one of the best weapons, so I can actually play the normal sword-based power Viva or something like that. I think that's really fun. I really hope they will actually make that the best damage build. We will have to see if the numbers are enough or if everyone plays Scepter again. But for now, it looks like possible. Maybe even Spear Weaver, you know, that would be also awesome. Yeah. No, I mean, Celestial is pretty good. Like, the problem is if you play Celestial on Mirage, I would not play Greatsword. Celestial is like a stat that is really good in open world for tanky for fights where you want to survive or stuff like that, or you just want to have an easy time. But then I would play a Condi based weapon. So for example, on Mesmer, I would go with a staff, and on like other builds, I would go with other Condi based weapons. I would not go for Greatsword on Mesmer because it's purely power based damage, and then Celestial is pretty bad for that one. Hope that makes sense. But you can always find my build guides for like Mesmer, all classes on my website, !websites, and you will find it there. But in general, I would always recommend to find a build or class that you enjoy the look of, and then you can look for builds that you actually like. Because every class can be played in every game mode, and most of them can actually be played with all the weapons as well. You just need to like find a build that actually suits this weapon. So for example, Greatsword on Mesmer, if you like to play that, I would go with Berserker, yeah, or maybe some Diviner gear or something like that. But don't go for Celestial on Greatsword with Mesmer. Yeah. I hate Scepter Elementalist. I can't wait for the patch. Yeah, I really hope that, like, I'm not saying Scepter is a bad weapon, but it's like way too overused. I think it should be a weapon that is useful in certain situations, but not all situations. And I really hope that Spear and Sword get a place to shine. Maybe even Hammer, you know, I would be up for playing a Hammer Weaver or Hammer, like just in a general Elementalist again. Playing Scepter on like Tempest, playing Scepter on Weaver, playing Scepter on like, I don't know, Evoker. Everywhere essentially is pretty boring. Yeah. Dual staff Condi Celestial Mirage for hard solo content. Yeah, that is possible. Yeah, but it's not the best. The best is Chronomancer. I have a build guide about it. It's insane. You have all the boons permanently. You have a lot of damage. It's fast paced in comparison to Mirage, and it's also more tanky. It's just straight up better than Mirage, I would say. It's really good. Should I use different stats than Celestial for play Greatsword? Yes, exactly. I have a lot of situations I don't see my mouse on display, but I see you have some blue point. What is that? You can type !mouse, which is like giving you the video how to set it up, but essentially it's an add-on that is legal to use in Guild Wars 2, which is called Blish HUD. And it gives me not only the mouse, but it also gives me, for example, here this like tracking of my stats. So I got like 50,000 karma since I started playing World vs. World today. I got 5 World vs. World ranks. So this is the same add-on, and the good part about this mouse cursor thing is that if I like move my camera around, I still see where my mouse cursor is. That is the most annoying part about Guild Wars 2's UI for me personally, is that the mouse cursor disappears if you go into camera movement mode. And then it happens like so many times already that I lost track of the mouse because of it, because it's not on the screen anymore. And then I casted I don't know, like an AoE skill or like a ground targeted skill, and it went somewhere completely different. So that's why this add-on is so good. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you have to, I don't know, the bot is a bit like, or not the bot, but the automatic moderation on YouTube is a bit like strict. So sometimes if you ping a link or write some comments, that have some potentially offensive language in there, it might delete it. So just try to like write it again and maybe a bit like different wording, and you will be fine, I guess. I'm making my first legendary and can't believe how long map completion is gonna take. I mean, you can have some, again, Blish HUD can be the pathing add-on, gives you like a ideal path, so to say, to get to the specific vistas, points of interest and stuff like that. So that can be extremely valuable and can give you essentially the fastest map completion if you want to, and then it takes like, I don't know, like 15 hours maybe. It's still long if you are somewhat slow, but it's still like way better than like 40 hours that you might need if you never did it before. Can help. Yeah. It's so terrible playing Conduit. You need to spam ground target skills in the rotation and must hit. Yeah, that is definitely a bit of a annoying thing, and especially if the boss is moving or if you lose your track of your mouse, that can be horrible. But I think like ground targeted skills are actually pretty fun in the game. It's just like the interaction sometimes in the combat with like the camera, and especially like a lot of times I also have to say visual clarity is also not helping. If you have like 10 people casting crazy amounts of attacks, the boss does crazy amounts of attack. Like imagine Slossosaur, like this the first raid boss in Wing 2. I almost never see the attack that like is like, so to say, knocking you down from the ground, this AoE spikes or whatever it is. You just have to like know they will happen and then you can move out. But there is so much clutter going on, and if you also have a ground targeted attack and you don't see where it's going, horrible. Yeah, I can definitely understand that. Yeah, exactly, Solanko. Exactly. Aha, you did it. We did it. Very good. Thanks, Patricia. I mean, sometimes if it's an offensive comment, we don't want to have it here. We are a friendly chat. We don't want to have offensive comments. What's the build you are rocking? Right now it's like just the classic Fresh Air Evoker. Like it's my go-to roaming build right now. Just Fresh Air, swapping to Air, Scepter, power-based Evoker, full Marauder gear. And I'm running Relic of the Venom for getting some protection up so that I'm not dying instantly when someone engages on me. That's the build. Pretty straightforward. Let me open it for you that you can see both of it. So that's the build. And like Marauder gear and Scepter, Focus for defense, and Relic of Venom. That's it. Pretty straightforward. Very fun build, very good build. And not the best roaming build, don't get me wrong. I think it's a build that is like in outnumbered situation, or if you fight, for example, a Celestial Harbinger, you probably lose because they just have a better build. But it's fun, and it's I think entertaining to watch as well. If I get some 101s or something and not only kill the NPCs here, because apparently today is only NPC day, but what can I do? Yeah, you can change the font in Arc DPS. It's like the font itself can be changed. You can change a lot of styles and how it's looking. I have a pretty lengthy guide on my YouTube channel how to change everything in Arc DPS. So if you have like really deep like desire to get all the information about Arc DPS, you can check out this video, !Arc in the chat, and you will get the link to it. And also like a quick setup guide by Patricia if you want to have that. On our Discord server, that is. Yeah. Why do you think they are forcing you to play World vs. World to get a legendary component? And why do they not end up to SPVP if that is more fun? That is an interesting idea. I know a lot of people here in chat are advocating actually for making the Gift of Battle being able to be purchased from other players, for example. I think they want to force you to play World vs. World because I think World vs. World is a game mode that is, so to say, their cornerstone, and they don't mean it as a meme. They actually mean it because they think that if you touch World vs. World, the likelihood that you actually stick with it and play it more often is higher than not playing it ever again. So they want to introduce you, force you to play World vs. World so that you stick with it and play it for longer and stick with Guild Wars 2 because of that for longer. I think that's the whole reasoning. I'm not saying that's necessarily working, I'm just saying that's what they are reasoning. Yeah. Is there a healing meter like the DPS meter? Yes, there is a healing meter, but the healing meter is only for yourself and other people that have the healing meter. It's not like Arc DPS where you can say, I see how much damage my Necromancer did. No, the Necromancer also have to have the healing DPS meter, so to say, healing meter. So I would say in an ideal situation, you have both of them installed and everyone can see everything if everyone else has that as well. But it exists, yes. Would love to be able to trade Gift of Exploration for a Gift of Battle. I think that would be very interesting. But like I said, they are a bit scared to change that, I guess, because they want to have new players being funneled into World vs. World. If there's no reason to go into World vs. World or PvP ever, people will not play it and the game modes will slowly die, even though people would like it, but they just don't touch it. So forcing them to do it makes them touch it and maybe stick around. I think that's the whole reasoning, and I'm pretty sure they will try to force that for the years to come as well. Yeah. Tell me your most fun spec for PvE, for PvP and World vs. World. For PvE, it's probably Weaver. I think Viva is extremely fun in PvE if you play it well. It's really good. Right now, though, I think it's not that good, and that's why I think I played my most fun spec is probably Chronomancer. If I had to choose for PvP, I think Condition Reaper is my most fun spec. And for World vs. World, I think like Evoker right now. I think Evoker is very, very fun. Yeah, that would be my 3 specs. I found World vs. World is difficult to get into. Felt like I was getting one shot while others take no damage. I mean, it's a PvP game more, so I think it's like very, like the problem is a lot that you have skill differences, skill gaps when you start out as a new player. You are not as skilled as someone that is like playing the game mode for thousands of hours. So sure, but I think if you stick to Zerg gameplay, so if you play with 50 other players, your impact on the Zerg is pretty low. So you can just run with them. Maybe we can find some Zerging action actually later as well. And then essentially you can just play and have fun, I guess, and your skill is not as important. Maybe that helps a bit. Yeah. What are easy buffs I can get every day? So you can get like the how's it called? This celebration buff from your, like, just getting your character's birthday, and you can get a 24-hour boost here. You can get the guild boost, that's really good. You can get the experience boosters from, for example, Candy Corn Gobblers, and the Festival Gobbler from like Snowflake Gobbler, that's really good. I have a guide how to set that up on my YouTube channel as usual as well. Those are the easy buffs to get, I would say. Yeah. That's why I have them permanently on. Yeah. I'm a PvE player, but I like being introduced to World vs. World during the Rush event. It's a completely different way of playing the game, and it's good to know what it's like. Same with Reckless and raids in PvP. Yeah, I think the Rush events do a good job there as well. I think that's why they do the Rush events, because they are an easy way to introduce people into the new game, or into new game modes for them. But also, it's a really nice way to bridge some content gaps. So we know we have the next content patch dropping on the 1st of September right now. That's how it looks like. In 60 days almost, yeah. But until then, there's not much happening in the game. But luckily we have the Rush events, so there is actually something happening. You just have to like use the Rush events to get into other game modes and have some fun there. Yeah, I think that's a good way of doing it. World vs. World is all about finding the right team, not having to be Zerg, but 10 out of 15, strong is very engaging. Yeah, I think you should, like, running around solo like I'm currently doing, that can be a bit frustrating for new player, because you will very likely fight some veteran player that is just farming you. That is the most likely scenario. But if you're in a Zerg, or if you have some players around, it doesn't need to be 50, like a little bit of players, the fun is actually there, because your skill does not matter as much anymore, so you don't get punished for being not as experienced as someone else that runs around. And the gear is like, if you have exotic gear, it's good enough for playing in a Zerg or playing with other people. Of course, Ascended gear would be better, but it's definitely like playable. It's not like in Fractals where you cannot play Fractals without Ascended gear. Yep. I'm making bold and only need the Clovers left. Wish me luck. Yeah, I mean, good luck with the Clovers. There are a lot of ways nowadays to get the Clovers guaranteed, but I guess you already used all of them. So yeah, good luck using the Mystic Forge to get the last few Clovers. Hi all. Welcome, Sergeant Tobber. Is anyone facing some in-game chat bugs? Just experienced some weird stuff? I actually did not have any bugs like that yet. So maybe it's just from your side. Maybe there is something going on. I don't know. I hope ArenaNet fixes it if it's really like client side soon. Yeah. But you have to agree that World vs. World is really about skill and more stacking long-range DPS with support. As PvP is pure skill and outplay, I can't believe they gave up on making it. The problem with PvP is they tried really hard on PvP. They had esports and stuff like that. But then they stopped doing esports. They made some bad balance decision years ago and people left. And the problem is, as soon as you start the downward spiral in PvP, you have people leaving, meaning the population gets smaller. Meaning that the matches themselves have less skilled players in them, while you have some skilled players in them, and it makes it not as fun anymore. So imagine you have a gold player playing with a platinum player. That is not that fun for the gold player. If you then, or maybe even for the platinum player, and then maybe the gold player does not play PvP anymore. And you start this vicious cycle of like the population goes down, you get less good matches, you get less people playing, and that continues and continues and continues. And now we are in a spot where PvP is pretty niche, that only like a couple of hundred players over the course of the whole world play it anymore. That's the case how it is actively. So it's really sad. It's a good game mode. I play it every day. It's really fun. But I think it's like pretty hard to come back to like the old days where you had like 30 seconds queue time all the time. It's just, yeah, it's just not there anymore, sadly. And I agree, like World vs. World is way less skillful, and it's way more about like playing the right builds and having people around you, and you will be succeeding most of the time, than in PvP, where you can actually win matches because you played well. In World vs. World, you will not carry your Zerg to the win, typically. You sometimes maybe, but not often. Yeah. Yeah. Is there a smarter way to get a waypoint out of the wiki? Always paste it in the chat and annoy everyone around me? Not really. I mean, you can paste it in a chat that is actually like only visible for you. So you can paste it in like a guild chat that is no one online, or you are the only one in the guild. You can also post it like in, I don't know, any chat, like a whisper chat to someone that like doesn't care or whatever. But the problem is like you have to post it to actually click on it. You cannot click out of the wiki into the game, sadly. Yeah. The bad balance decision was the bunker meta? Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. PvP failed when they tried to go esports. Guild Wars is not an esport game. I'm not sure. Like, why would it fail because of going esport? I think it's more like the decision of canceling esport after doing esport and making bad balance decision during that time as well. The combination there was the issue, I think. But I don't know. I think like reminiscing about the past is like not really that important. It does not help that much in this specific case. Yeah. Do you hope for PvP World vs. World in Guild Wars 3? I think maybe small scale, maybe like 5 vs. 5. I can see maybe, but I think large scale is unlikely. I don't see large scale PvP. I know a lot of people that really want to have 50 vs. 50 guild battles, but I don't see it. I think they say smaller groups, more strategic gameplay. That doesn't sound to me like 50 vs. 50 chaos. I don't see it. Yeah. Or in squad chat. Exactly. Good point by John. Yeah. Thoughts on Ectos hitting 26 silver? I think that's good. Like, higher Ecto prices is always good. It makes it more valuable to farm stuff. I think that will increase until the Festival of the Four Winds. And after that, it typically drops off again when there is a new content release where you can farm like unidentified gear like crazy. Yeah, that is my realistic prediction. Yeah. You can post. Good point. We have a lot of smart people here in chat. Very good. You can whisper yourself, and then you can like no one else sees it. Then good point. That is an awesome tip. Yeah, very good. Welcome, Just Chill TV. Welcome. Just seen your video on what class to pick, and you might enjoy and should play. Very good. Glad you like it. Was a lot of work, but I hope it paid off, and a lot of new players actually know now what to pick. That would be my big hope. Just look how big MOBA is, and PvP in Guild Wars feels a lot more like MOBA. I think they're just so bad at marketing it. I think Guild Wars 2 PvP is probably the best PvP in any MMO. I think it's insanely good. And if they would market World vs. World and PvP as a really good like selling point of the game, I think we get a lot of players. But I think they just don't care. I think they are more focused towards the PvE audience. I think they should care, but they don't. And it's sad, but I cannot change that. I'm just a player, I'm a content creator, but I'm not a developer or like the decision maker at ArenaNet, sadly. Yeah. What made you stuck with Guild Wars 2 for so long? I enjoy the combat. Whenever I play any other game that is like somewhat similar in the same genre, I think the combat is never as good for me, as fluid, as fun, as fast-paced, as tactical at the same time as Guild Wars 2's. So it's always the combat. Yeah, there are some better games out there, but they typically don't have the long-term longevity that Guild Wars 2 has. So in the end, I always came back to Guild Wars 2. Yeah. Welcome, Alex. Welcome. How good is Engineer for new player? I think it's like if you pick Mechanist, it's a really good new player class. if you pick like Holosmith or if you pick like Amalgam, it can be a bit overwhelming. But I personally would say if you start out with Engineer and know you will go for Mechanist, it's an awesome pick. A really good class to start out with. Yeah. Yeah, glad my videos helped. Welcome back to the game, Oskaten. Welcome, welcome. What other MMOs did you try for some longer time? So I played a little bit of Final Fantasy XIV. I played a lot of the big large scale MMOs. I played a bit, you know, like a couple. Like I played, what did I play? Like Lost Ark. Is that considered an MMO? I guess you could. I could. Like a couple of them I played. I played really like 5 hours of World of Warcraft like a couple of years ago, but I never had any like big MMO that actually like hit me as hard and as deep as Guild Wars 2 did. I don't know why. It's just how it is. I haven't played Guild Wars 2 since before Baba Nivos came out. Would you say it's good time to come back now? Yeah, I think so. You have really good, like Visions of Eternity is a really good expansion. You have way more content coming up with the Hall of Monuments. You have way more players playing right now than ever before. In the last 5 years at least, it's extremely good. A really good time to come back to Guild Wars 2, yeah. I bought the game for World vs. World. It was the one unique thing Guild Wars 2 had. That is true. It's very, very unique, World vs. World. I think they should market that specifically more, because I think if you would say we have large-scale open world PvP, like tell me any other game that actually does it as good as Guild Wars 2. Like, I would say none. And that's pretty crazy. So if they would market it more like that, I think they would get a lot of more interest in that as well. And more people that would never consider Guild Wars 2 to play it. I think that's a bit sad that they don't do it. I think the marketing and ArenaNet got better over the last few years, but it's still not the best. And that would be a really good point to improve, I would say. For sure. I'm very curious about the graphical update they talked about. The older zones deserve so much love. I like how the newer ones look. Yeah, I agree. I think that would be like awesome if they make all the core game zones, which are pretty cool. Like they are pretty good. But the problem is they are somewhat dated. And if they update the graphics of them, some of them are awesome and look beautiful, but not all of them. And I think if they update the new ones, to look like the new ones rather, that would be really good, because that's the thing that new players see. You know, they will not see the new expansion maps when they first load into the game. They will see the original maps. So I think that would be a big plus, a big benefit for sure. Yeah. Nice, glad you didn't. Very good, very good. So many people watch my streams. I like it. Very good. Yeah, I mean, I try to stream very consistently every Saturday. So nice that you are here. Very good. I'm going to say ESO does World vs. World as well as Guild Wars 2. I mean, that's fair. I'm not saying that, like, I don't want to make any other game looking bad. I'm just saying it because I think Guild Wars 2's World vs. World is so good. I have to be honest, I did not play that in Elder Scrolls Online, so I'm not sure if that's correct or not. But I don't want to say anything negative. I'm just saying World vs. World is such a unique selling point, a good selling point of Guild Wars 2, that it's a shame that they don't like make more like fuss about it. Yeah. The only thing the other MMOs do better than Guild Wars 2 is the amount of updates. Yeah, for sure. Like Guild Wars 2 struggles always with the amount of updates. But that's the thing that comes in my opinion, really clutch with World vs. World. Because World vs. World essentially did not get updated over the last 10 years majorly. So I think, and people still play it. So it would be awesome to have more people play World vs. World because it's a fun game mode and it will stay fun even without updates. So it's just so good, the baseline. So I think if they would market it more, that would just be like a win-win-win for everybody. Yeah, it's just true. I hope Guild Wars 3 has a similar thing to World vs. World. I'm not sure. We will have to see. I would be like embracing it. I would really like be hyped about it. But I'm not sure. I don't know the facts about it. I'm not sure if that will be the case or will not be the case. I will take it however it happens. Yeah. Yeah. The fact that people still play it and it's not updated for 10 years really shows how well liked it is. Exactly. Like, if a game mode is so good that you don't need to update it for 10 years or essentially like not really updated, then you can tell how good it is, how many people actually enjoy playing it. And we will get a new map somewhat soon with the new Borderlands. They said they will make a new third Borderland. So which means we have the Desert Borderlands, the Alpine Borderlands, Eternal Battlegrounds, and the mysterious last fourth map. That will be really cool. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. Can't think of many games that can do that. Counter-Strike maybe. That thing has been the same for 20 years. Yeah, I think not every game company can do that, but I think Guild Wars 2 is a really good. Like, can we get the kill there? On the Rome guy, maybe. Maybe. I have to be a bit careful there. I think we got the kill, maybe. Nope. I might actually have gotten the kill with my long range. Oh my god, 2%. Maybe my air hair got them. Yeah, there we go. So, where are you? So, classic Thief 101. I hate Thief 101s. They are just annoying. It's so annoying to fight thieves, I have to be honest. It's like just... Luckily that will be gone. It will be gone. They nerfed the straight. They nerfed the straight. They will not be able to stealth just by dodging. So, come on now. They got me. They are too good at stealthing. Too good at stealthing. The good part is I will win the 101 now. What's your favorite game mode? Hard to say. I like to play all of them. If I would be on Viva, yeah, exactly. True. If I would play Viva here, they would have killed them because I have all my attacks are targeting. Like I have 2 ground targeted attacks, and they are stealthing against me all the time. If I play Viva here, they are instantly dead. No chance. It's so sad. It's fine. I would say I play all game modes. I cannot like decide which one is my favorite because then I would probably quit the game if I only play one game mode. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I play all the game modes. So where's the thief? Let's hunt them. Let's hunt them. And the problem is also there are so many like NPCs that were around that were also annoying me. So sad. I actually would have won this 101 easily, but there were too many NPCs around. And you know, dead eyes are really toxic to fight. Really, really toxic. Working on Seasons of the Dragons for Legendary. Do you know any community that group for getting meta events on low population maps so metas can be hard? I'm not sure. Maybe... I'm not sure. I actually don't know any community like that. It's sad. So let's get the 101 again. You know, let's be fair. Let's get a fair 101 and see if who's better. Like I want to get a Thief 101. No, they're running away. Classic Thief. That's okay. Yeah, what's your favorite class and part of the game? I think if you would have to say what's the best designed one, what I like to play the most, I think Fractals are one of the best game modes I've like played because it's just so like fun to play them all the time, all the day. Like I think it's really good. Class is hard to decide. I don't know about the class. I could not pick one, to be honest. I could not pick one. Not sure. Yeah, I think Mesmer is really good. Like Mesmer is really fun. But the problem is for me, it's the same with the game modes. If you would have to say like this one game mode is the best game mode, and I would play it from now on for the future of the game. I would be a bit bored. I would be not only a bit, I would be a lot, like bored a lot. And then I would quit the game after a while. And the same goes for the classes. If I would have to play one class forever and nothing else, I would get bored. Even if I play Mesmer, which is a fun class, I would get bored pretty hard. Yeah. Am I rather a new player? I feel like World versus World kind of depends on equipment. Yes, you have to have World versus World, like see it as a, you have to have gear to actually play against the other players. Like if you play with like green gear, you will lose instantly. It's like they have better gear than you, then it's a hard fight for you. You can win, but it's a hard fight. But you use your normal PvE gear, so you should have builds that actually like use those gear stats and make sense. Then it's not like in PvP where you can equip anything and you will have more of a skilled matchup because it's not equalized here. Yeah. Is Greatsword good for any spec of warrior? Yeah, you can play Greatsword Berserker, which is probably the best because your F1 skill gets really good. Berserker is probably your best bet with Greatsword on warrior. Yeah. Which armor class has the most gameplay variety? I would say light. Light armor class is probably the best in terms of gameplay variety. If you were new to the game, but you have the same knowledge as now and you wanted to raid and get groups as fast as possible, succeed the easiest, which profession would you like for that situation? Chronomancer. Because you can fill all the roles and you can carry your groups with support. Like support heal Chronomancer is probably your best bet. Yeah, underwater fight in PvP, Capricorn, yeah. Ranger like was insanely good back then because you could not stomp underwater, you can still not stomp underwater. So Ranger could revive themselves underwater on PvP. It was absolutely obnoxious, yeah. It was good times for the Ranger mains. Yeah. Fairly new to Guild Wars 2 and enjoy World vs. World. I'm mostly playing Zerg in small groups. What builds would you suggest for Necromancer? I would say for roaming, like small groups, I think Reaper is pretty good. For Zerging, I would say like you can play Support Scourge or like Boonstrip Scourge. That's pretty good as well. Yeah. If you have full exotic gear, that's completely fine. I think you don't need ascended gear, but having below exotic gear makes it pretty hard for you to win, I would say. Even with exotic, you sometimes will struggle just straight up because of the gear. It's just sadly because of the numbers. You know, you have less defensive, you have less stats. It's just not as good. Yeah. That's how it is. Currently, I don't play any other MMOs. Maybe you could consider Warframe MMO. That's what I play as well, but that's about it. I don't play anything like really actively. Content creation and playing like Guild Wars 2 is already covering a lot of my time. So, yeah. Do you have any tips for Convert in PvP and Reaper in general of all classes? It confuses me the most. Keep playing, keep like trying, be patient, try to improve. I think like that's the general tip. If you stick with a class and play them in any game mode just longer, try to improve, try to see why you failed. That helps the most. I cannot give you a certain tip and say that will solve all your issues, but maybe watch your gameplay, record your own gameplay and watch it after a PvP match, after whatever raid boss. See what you did and learn what you did wrong. Thanks, really appreciate it, Ditzak, really appreciate it. So that is something that I would tell you, like being patient, trying to improve by learning out of your own mistakes. Where's the best place to learn how to use Elementalist to match with others in challenge mode fractals? That's a tough one actually. I will try to make guides for the challenge modes in the Fractal series that I'm working on, but right now I'm not sure if there are any really good like Elementalist guides for challenge mode specifically. I will try to make like stuff more on stream with people with like Fractals and stuff, and also Viva after the patch, so stay tuned for that, but right now I'm not sure where that is actually possible. Yeah. Favorite PvP map? I like the new Revenge of the Capricorn. I think it's a pretty straightforward map. I like that probably the most. Yeah. I've returned recently and noticed that the reward potions are gone from daily. What happened with them? they just essentially put it in you get it instantly. You get the reward track potions from, for example, PvP dailies, you get them instantly and stuff like that. It's not like you cannot save them anymore. That's essentially it. That's essentially it. Yeah. What's your favorite Warframe? I think that's tough, actually. I think Mirage. I like Mirage a lot. It's really fun, really fast-paced. Yeah. Do you remember when Edge of the Mist got added? How crazy busy that was? Queues of hours. I wonder if new World vs. World map is gonna be the same. Maybe. I think it depends heavily how good it is. I think in the beginning, in the first week, yes, but then it will drop off drastically and it will not change too much, I would say. Yeah. Do you remember when Edge of the Mist got added? Yeah, I think like that was a really good time. Like for me, like Edge of the Mist, back then when they introduced it, that was like the prime time of Guild Wars 2, I think. When they added a lot of new stuff, when there were a lot of people playing, that was like a really good time. Like back then, probably the highest player count for World vs. World specifically. But right now it's also really good. They told us it's insanely high, the numbers right now. Yeah. Does Arena not like Elementalist? Hard to say. I think Elementalist is one of the specs that gets nerfed the fastest when it's overperforming. But I personally would say it's actually... I think it's one of the classes that is like... It looks a bit like ArenaNet is not happy when it's overperforming. Because it's typically the skill gap between really skilled players and less skilled players is the biggest there. Yeah, I think Guild Wars 2 is currently in one of its best times it's ever been. But if you talk about World vs. World specifically, I think World vs. World has been the best when Heart of Thorns came out around this era. That was when World vs. World was like incredibly active. Like nowadays, if you get a reset, sometimes you have like a 60-70 person queue on EBG. But when World vs. World and Heart of Thorns came out, that was essentially like you had like queues that like multiple times Edge of the Mist queues from your server. It was insanely active back then, like crazy. So yeah, it was a bit different then. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Either way, I think that's the end of today's stream. I hope you enjoyed the stream and I hope you enjoyed my questions and answers as usual. I wish you all a very nice weekend. Thanks for joining. Thanks for your support. Be sure to check out my YouTube channel. I have some really nice content. Hopefully you agree. Coming up very soon. And thanks a lot for watching. Take care. Have a nice weekend. See you around. And yeah, thanks for joining today. See ya.